afternoon, and welcome to the Pennsylvania Interscholastic Esports Association. It is the state quarterfinals, and we are excited here to bring you all the action live today in Pennsylvania. We are looking forward to a wonderful time. My name's Ken Carmen. I am Kendo Slice, and my friend is with me today. That is the one and only Danger Taco. Jeff, how are you doing today, my friend?
Oh my goodness, Kendo, I could not be more excited because typically you and I, we're covering a lot of collegiate action, but sometimes you got to do some scouting. You got to really creep down into the high school ranks and see who the next generation of esports stars are going to be. And honestly, they very well could be amongst this crowd right here.
I agree with you, and that's one of the things I love about high school esports. The fact is, not everyone that you see on the pitch today is bound for the RLCS, which, yes, is going on right now. You may or may not be kind of distracted by the attention spans going back and forth between gameplays, but this is a celebration of Rocket League unlike any other. When we can sit down, we can watch interscholastic athletes grow not only in their studies, Taco, but they are growing on the pitch, and they're doing it right before our eyes, fighting the final 8 here for a Pennsylvania state championship.
And it's such a big, important moment, specifically because obviously having whittled it down to these final 8 teams, there's a lot of pressure on these players. Sometimes when you're in playing esports, it can be casual, it can be a hobby, but now there's a lot of stakes here. You're representing your whole town. You got a bunch of people cheering for you, and can get for some sweaty palms, some shaky hands, and curious to see what composure's going to win out, which of these young individuals, these young adults, going to come through here and make it all happen for them. But we got a lot of best of 7s ahead, and to be honest, lots of Rocket League action, twists and turns, I'm sure to come.
Absolutely. We are getting right into the gameplay, Taco. That's what I love. Everyone getting in on the action, and already we have a goal from Sky. Garnet Valley, the undefeated juggernaut of the Penn Division, are going to go up first within 10 seconds.
They're not messing around. They got a supersonic legend on their team, which means they're going to be supersonic, traveling directly at your goal, and you have to make sure it is buttoned up. Do not like to see kickoff goals like that, especially back-to-back. This time, going to go over the bar. Follow-up, not going to be there, but Garnet Valley showed a lot of pace early.
Just a little bit of background. Garnet Valley, the Jaguars from the Penn Division, 7-0, 14-0 on individual games. Ran an onslaught through the Penn Division the entire time. Didn't get much time for me to review them during the weekly updates, and I'm kind of sad about not being able to see some of the highlights because those games, they went by so fast. They dominated every single opponent that came their way, and they're already looking fairly stellar. The offensive pressure is there. It's going to be Sky, oh God, able to get in on that ball as well, but steadfast defense and winning 50-50s may just be the route that the White Streaks of Mannheim Township can use to keep their ground.
And Mannheim Township, that's what they really need to focus on. If you get a goal early, that's fine. You have plenty of time to fight back, but it's more important about finding your footing in the game. What pace will work for you? Can you change it up? Play slow when you need to, play fast when you absolutely need a challenge? I think that's going to be the question, and as well as this backboard defense. A lot of frantic defending, but we'll be able to keep things clear. It'll stay at 1-0, but my goodness, that midfield line, like a rubber band, it keeps just getting the ball shoved right back into their half.
Thus far, the pace of play has been very rapid. You can definitely tell the jitters of being here live at an event are coming into full form. Of course, you and I, we don't get to see the action from the in-person standpoint, but the action so far through 2 minutes has been stellar, Taco. And Garnet Valley, they get off to a quick start. Mannheim Township are finally pushing back. Here comes Sky. Look at the double tap off the sidewall, and that is an angle.
It's more than just that. It's a great setup, and then there's so much to do. They are protecting the shot. Octagon literally backs into the goal, waiting for the rebound, but there is no rebound. It's just going to go laser focused into the back post. Sky is stepping up. That is the player leading the charge, and if not for some very capable defending, this could be an even bigger gap here in game number 1, but this is usually a time of adjustment, and if anyone was worried about playing Garnet Garnet coming into this game. I think they're getting plenty of evidence of why.
Jags are definitely a predator when they get onto the pitch, and they are going to be looking for even more here. They got the Mannheim Township defense hemmed in its own end, and they are under siege at times as we stretch through the second half of this game. Mannheim Township will get another ball cleared, but it's really just a streak of clear. They haven't been able to have sustained offense thus far as this ball creeping ever closer to the danger zone. It's dropping down in the box. E-Man, another great setup. They do have Gumgod not able to get the touch on, but that could have been lethal.
Absolutely, and at the very least, the challenges are there, and all they have to do is just play patient enough. Mannheim Township knows that all they need is just one look at the goal, but it doesn't help when Sky is threatening them from up close and from downtown. The long clear just too hot to handle.
That is one thing. It's the temptation. You finally get the ball cleared. You want to go all in, try to score some offense, especially when you've been oppressed the way that the White Streaks have thus far. I want to see more from Mannheim Township, but at this point, it may just be search for solace, get a goal here, and try to change momentum into the next one. That is the advantage of a clean slate, and E-Man gonna put this one away too.
This one was so deceptive as the shot comes through. E-Man just gets a little bit of a doink on it. Honestly, the goalie felt like they were ready. I don't think they expected it to go all the way back across. They tried to calculate that backflip, but ultimately the shot was placed just too well. You don't need a blazing amount of power if it's placed so perfectly into the lower 90. 4-0 to start things off here in this best of 7. Garnet really making a statement here in game 1. They are not to be trifled with.
No, they are not. E-Man, this will be a ceiling touch. No one home so far, but the confidence to be going through those sorts of touches, you definitely know that they are going to be looking for epic plays here, especially since they have 1 minute left. A very comfortable 4-goal lead. Here comes E-Man. The push from their own zone through the midfield. Very loose touch, and they're able to recover it here, but you do have to watch out. Those are opportunities if you're Mannheim Township to take it back the other way, but you have to defend in order to do so, and they will. But just for now, the pressure's still on, though. Oh, no. Sky! Sky!
Getting 4 goals, leading the way from the 5 that they've got. But look at this, the pre-flip into the touch, knowing their job isn't done. All they got to do is just dunk it off of the defender, off the post, anything, because they know the only place that ball is going is into that top. What a performance thing off. And I think normally I say these game 1s, they're kind of adjustment games, trying to figure out what's going to. I think that's very much so the case now, if it wasn't already for Mannheim Township. Just about stemming and trying to get back into steady. They've had balance of control, but ultimately it's just kind of a ticking clock waiting for that next hammer to fall down. It seems E-Man not by the next guy gladly get their 5th goal on the game.
And this is great control by E-Man. Trap down, double tap off. You don't always need to convert the goal in order to set up your teammate. The longer you can stall the ball out in the offensive zone, the better off you are. So this game number 1, very clearly going to be in the corner of Garnet Valley. It's going to be up to Mannheim Township to make adjustments going into game number 2. I had a lot of questions about Garnet Valley coming into this one just because they had been unchallenged. Now that they're going up against a seasoned Mannheim Township squad, oh boy, this is a for-real team coming out of the Valley.
Absolutely. And when you look at results like this is always the strangest things about series like this, because it can go one of 2 ways. Usually in game 1s, you see very cagey openings, both teams just trying to play passive enough, try to figure out what's going to be the strategy here. Are they susceptible on the backboard? Maybe we have infield passes, but instead, Garnet Valley just said, hey, Sky, what do you want to do? Sky said, feed me the ball, and just proceeded to just bury everything in their path. And that's one way to start things off. So the question is that going to be the pattern? Is it just going to be Garnet Valley just throwing everything at the backboard, at the goal of this Mannheim Township white squad? Or is this just an anomaly? It was just a weird kind of getting to know you type of game, and Mannheim is going to come out a bit more solid in game number 2.
I do know this much. Mannheim Township, no strangers to making adjustments. Keystone Division number 2, 5-2, 12-4. The problem is, if I remember correctly, this is a best of 5 circumstance, so they are going to want to make sure that they clap back hard in here in game number 2, because you don't want to go down that 2 games. The all-critical game number 2. How you answer is of the utmost importance.
And at least for right now, as we start this next match, I think we kick off one of the most so crucial set piece, the only set piece here within Rocket League where everyone's just from the same position. Interesting to see if they can actually get up onto offense. I would love for them to try to play for some more possession, just try to get some delicate taps in and see if they can make sure they can just get some quality shots just to build up the confidence, because right now it has to be a bit shaky with all this pressure in front of goal. They will be able to get that temporary to the corner, but one more attack has to be survived past middle, but no touch from E-Man. Another flick out to mid.
I'm blind in one eye and it might not have very good vision in the other. Best of 7 scenario. Either way, though, that while there is time, Mannheim Township, the Streaks, are going to have to do more than just streak in the defensive zone in order to beat this Garnet Valley offensive. Wow! So close on the goal line, the precipice of a goal, just not able to convert. They will continue to keep the pressure on, however. And Flossie, just taking a breath here.
And now the same can be said about the side of Garnet Valley, but sometimes when you take your time, it's going to be swatted over top of you. Gumgod trying to possess, but Dr. Phil having none of that.
I could sense the hesitance, both in you seeing the hesitance as well as right there on the pitch from Gumgod, and that's not a good place to be hesitant. You want to make sure you keep that ball out of harm's way. They did not take good care of the possession, and now Mannheim Township, they look like they have a sliver of hope. Can they build upon it? Gumgod, that is a very mechanical play off of the ceiling. Oh, show me more of that, please. Oh.
Ooh, the flick from Sky. Plays it better next time. Top corner, Kendo, and Sky just chasing demos, dodging players, and still so much to do. Just Sky, this young adult, just popping off. Really impressive already. They're just halfway, not even halfway, through game number 2.
Even crazier, the amount of credit that is needed and deserved for the amount of power put on that ball. A quick turnaround, able to get that much of a flick, and then to snipe the corner in that manner. It takes a lot of experience, a lot of shot on, and a time in free play is something that I know I can't do that well personally. Taco, I know you much better than I am at the game. And thankfully, we're equals behind the mic, right? No.
Well, yes, we're certainly equals behind the mic. It's all about mindset and gameplay as well. And Sky certainly is in perfect Zen mode. Every time this ball goes in the air, they are fully confident that they can make something happen with it. But at least with a 1-1 scoreline, we're looking at a more back and forth affair. I'm happy with how stable the defense has been, at least compared to game number 1. And as long as they keep it close, I think it's just general improvements. Knowing how the series has progressed and knowing that you still have games to play, I think it's something that Mannheim can take solace in. Just understand that as long as you incrementally get better, it doesn't necessarily matter if the flow of the game isn't going your way, because eventually you can figure things out, put some pieces together, but I'm sure they would like to have at least a little bit more time before they're getting such a harangued by that incoming offensive player. Gumgod, there it is. Finally, after all that pressure, the dam's gonna burst.
Yeah, there was a lot of pressure, and I might need a little Dr. Phil therapy from this one. Sadly, none of it to be found as they were on their way to boost, and you had 2 stationary defenders right there on the line. It doesn't bode well. We need to see a little bit of pressure forward into that possession to really cause it any havoc. And if you're waiting on the goal line, you're waiting for your own demise. That's something that I have learned the hard way one too many a time.
Yeah. So as we progress into the latter stages of game number 2, the scoreline much more even However, I think this pace of play is still, I would say, within the grasp or the reach of them, but not necessarily in their grasp for Manheim Township, because at the end of the day, these long balls down, and I think the follow-up game from Garnet Valley is so incredibly good. Look at Sky yet again in the thick of things, getting a 50. It pops out perfectly in the third man. Johnny on the spot tucks it into the open net. 3-1 lead starting to grow. 94 seconds remaining. Man, I like the increased confidence. I like the speed with your playing, but it's still just a bit too catch up.
You need a little more mustard on it. And right now, you're getting a lot of that yellow stuff from the Garnet Valley Jaguars. They are taking great liberties with this ball, especially in the midfield. They've been afforded the opportunity as another giveaway essentially played on by Gum God, laid forward by E-Man. That is a wide open net. Who will take the goal? It'll be Gum God.
We're starting to see double commits come through. Look at Flossie on the backboard. They turn toward it, and so too does the player in the middle. So Gum God just has to patiently wait, put that one into the back of the net. Their hesitance on their own near post resulted in that goal, and the lack of patience from the defense here. Manheim Township is going to send them 3 goals down, and I think right now we're starting to see what happens when a team starts to get a bit shaky. You start to fall behind more and more. You get more desperate. You start to really want to turn up the pressure, but I think that is when you actually need to double down on the patience and understand that it's only 1 goal at a time. You have to build back, and right now, it seems like Manheim is certainly struggling with the anxiety of the moment, whereas Garnet Valley, I feel like they're just playing instinctually, just going at the ball at pace. And, of course, with Sky, putting some very dangerous shots on target. The foot reset, double tap, everything on display.
I mean, what I've seen of Sky so far definitely likes to live up to the namesake, taking to the sky, and that is a brilliant double tap made possible by the physical plays on the goal line. So everyone is getting their licks in right now, and with 29 seconds to go, we're again in a circumstance where this one, scoreline pretty much over. Sky gonna add insult to injury here. What if you're Manheim Township? Do you have to do? Because they just seem bewildered once that ball gets into the defensive quarter.
I think that mostly just calming down these rotations. I think communication is going to be of the utmost importance for them, because mostly the speed is not necessarily something I'm concerned about. It's more so just when the ball does get into that precarious situation in the midfield or into their defensive third, they start to both turn for the ball. You start to see players start to try to pause and calculate their next move when it should just be more free-flowing than that. And without really that communication with these double commits, when one player gets beat, then you have 2/3 of your defense completely out of things. I think we had a very clean start to game number 2, but over time, bad habits from game number 1 returned, and now it's going to be a deeper hole to climb out of as we head towards game number 3.
Yes, indeed. Garnet Valley now up 2-0 in the series, and a whopping, get this, Taco, 13-1 goal differential so far between the two teams. I'm not even going to get into the shot differential. It is just as much of an admonished, bewildering number. So it's really been all the Jaguars. The streaks have shown us little flashes in the pan, and I get the feeling they're hoping for more here going into game number 3, because if they don't get anything, oh boy, it looks all downhill from here.
Yeah, and of course, we do have to mention that, of course, in some tournaments, people get frustrated with seeding, and they say, seeded this makes no sense. I don't think anyone's going to argue Garnet Valley is the number 1 team coming how they're playing. So, Manheim Township White, they do have things cut out for them. There's a lot to take care of, and of course, a lot of different dangers. Sky is, when they're not scoring, setting up some great goals, having 5 out of 6 goals on the participation statistics. And so if you're going to have to get back in this game, I think communication is the first thing. And after that, just being able to stay calm, not rush into every play, and understand that while you may not get as many chances as your opponents, all you need are just 1 or 2 to be able to get yourself back in this game. And as long as the defense holds, you can even out some wins. They don't have to be pretty. You just have to end with more goals than the other.
Well, there was an undefeated team in the last season of PIEA Rocket League, and that was Penn Cambria. They also went 7-0 14-0. They lost one game, and there was a lot of momentum that went into their opposing team. So I'm looking at this. It is a realm of opportunity if you're Mannheim Township. One win to be the team that finally got the drop on the team that has been undefeated the entire season can go a long way for momentum. And Dr. Phil may have exactly what the doctor ordered, some physical play to take the Jags out of the rotation.
And I'm a huge fan of physical play. I think I'm a proponent of it mainly because of how much it can affect the movement around the field. When you have one player out of the field, gap opens up, two players committing another demo, but even with that player getting sent to the Shadow Realm, they just could not get it through. We're going to have an admin pause on this game to make sure that we have all of the players perfectly in there, but so incredibly close for Mannheim Township, and yet they just could not pull it out in the end. So unfortunate.
It did look like Sky had been lost there for a moment, so yeah, definitely a good time to pause and make sure that everyone is on top of everything. But Mannheim Township, they were making the most of their opportunity. They got very good pressure, and I like it. This is exactly what I would love to see. Get in the physical plays, disrupt the rotation, bewilder Garnet Valley the same way they have gone and really discouraged you, put you in a disparaging situation. Okay, I'm going to speak from personal experience here, Taco.
Of course.
If there is one thing that is more frustrating than anything else in the world of Rocket League, it is queuing up against someone like, say, Woody. He and I very similar ranks. And once you end up getting double demoed, it sends you to a different place.
Yes, I 100% agree with that, particularly because for me, I don't necessarily get irritated by demo chasing. I get more frustrated with the feeling of getting demoed, spawning in, and then right at that moment I see the ball fly past me and into the goal, or a shot that I can't do anything about. And part of you is thinking, okay, it's fine, you can just recover out of it. But the demo meta, I think it can be something that is very valuable because it doesn't have to detract from your rotation. A lot of people who demo chase, as in, you know, Woody, it is kind of a meme because it requires you to basically abandon your teammates and just say, I'm just going to chase these people. And it can be effective if you're really, really good at it, but most people are not. So if you're going to look at this perspective from Mannheim Township, you started getting some demos, and that was your first real opportunity of, I would say, the series to be able to get on the scoreline. So your note to take away from that is not that more demos equals more opportunities, but more getting a demo every once in a while will throw a wrench into the gears of the rotation on Garnet Valley. That is what you need to look for. This team looks very comfortable. They're in cruise control. You need to make sure you throw them off balance, and a well-timed demo, maybe on an exit rotation, is exactly as you alluded, the doctor ordered.
Well, I'm going to put the wrench on my door window of my 91 truck, which may or may not require it in order to lower the window. We're going to cruise for a minute, and we're going to take a quick break. We're going to be right back. They're resetting up the game for everybody. Don't go away. And we are back, folks. It is time once again. Game number 3, resetting from the very start. It looks like there was a little bit of an issue, but we have everybody in once again. And Mannheim Township, they're going to be looking for more of the same. They're going to want to try to cause that disruption that was oh so critical in them getting a little bit of early pressure. Right now, they've controlled. They're getting the ball in the offensive zone. The signs of life again from the streets. Oh, no.
And now just great defense. How about that one coming through from Velocity? Also able to get a flick on. Can they even one more deflection from Gumgod? Actually very crucial. Almost the entire defense being unraveled. They are able to get forward, and now it's E-Man's turn to do some damage on offense, tucking it past a couple defenders, and still from a tough angle, getting it to go.
I'm not sure exactly what changed as far as the issue that caused, but we do have APO Gamer in. We're going to go with that as the name. APO Gamer sounds a little bit interesting. One of the two. It will be corrected, I imagine, eventually, the way they would like to be called there. But APO in for Sky, who seem to have a dead issue there. So looking forward to seeing what APO can bring to the pitch, if it changes any of the momentum for Garnet Valley. So far, so good. 1 minute in, they're already up by 1, and they are looking for more.
And for Mannheim Township, I'm sure this is a gift from the heavens that they didn't even expect to receive. If you're going to have one player have to get subbed out during a series, I would love for it to be the player who scored 70% of the opposing team's goals.
Yeah.
Whether or not that will actually influence the rotations enough are really remaining to be seen. Right now, the shots are still coming hot and heavy in from Garnet. Tough angle from E-Man. They're not able to get that one to go. Back out to midfield. Flossie will give chase.
E-Man, and now Gumgod looking once again for the backboard. It's a buried backboard, and Gumgod's gonna put it away.
I'm not 100% sure if this was intentional, but they almost look like they set up a flip reset and then, uses the back flip to double tap it. I mean, I understand they're playing for this prestige in a tournament. I didn't realize they're added to the highlight reel.
Oh man, if there's nothing else that you want to take away from this, Taco, it's the highlight reel is always open, and Garnet Valley are looking to create a whole new one here just on the playoffs alone. We've already seen double taps. We've seen aerial displays. What else can the Jaguars do?
I guess time will only tell. They have plenty of time and games to go, and they're just going to keep adding to that reel, but they'll take some regular goals as well. Stat padding is E-Man with their second goal through 5 shots. That's some fantastic efficiency. And even when Mannheim gets these resurgent moments, it's fleeting, it seems, in front of the enduring dominance that Garnet Valley just continues to bring forth.
I will say this about Mannheim Township. Again, this is a school representing 2 different teams here in the top 8 of the state. So it's very impressive to pull off that sort of a feat. No matter what circumstance you are under, there's a lot of depth within the streaks, and they are going to be looking to leave their mark here. Maybe it'll just be a single win. Maybe it'll be something more. I definitely want to see as they make adjustments here. We do have a dangerous ball in the box. No follow-up, though. And Gumgod, the quick, apt clear.
Yeah, and Kendo, you and I have casted a lot of scholastic level Rocket League between collegiate and also high school. And as we know, this game can be filled with entropy. A lot of unexpected things happen. A lot of series get turned on a dime. Whether or not that's going to be the case here, I think it's going to be pretty difficult. Right now, it looks very secure in the side of Garnet Valley, but there are these brief flashes where I really like what I'm seeing out of Mannheim. They get some nice passes going, or going for nice 50s, or they're challenging the ball in a good staggered rotation, and it does feel like they are progressively getting a handle on the series. It's just a shame that it's coming a bit too slowly, I would say. If this game does stay the way it is currently really slated to be, they will be on match point, and that's quite the daunting task to have to, first round here in our quarterfinals section of the bracket, have to engineer a reverse sweep.
Yes, definitely a tough thing to overcome. I look at last season, and historically in these quarterfinals, the favorites have a tendency to win, to remain the favorites. So it doesn't surprise me what we are seeing so far. What is surprising me is the fact that Garnet Valley are out here looking to make a highlight reel. They are in the process of conducting a tuber. So contact the team if you're looking for an editing job, because they are definitely keeping this one on lock. 33 seconds to go. 3-goal lead, and another ball lofted in the box, shot on. It'll be Gumgod just wide. It's off the bar and out.
Gumgod can't get all the goals. They're going to have to wait for a bit more. It seems like they tried to get the assist to the fourth man, the post, but sometimes the post, it's a fickle teammate. Doesn't always want to put it in for you. At least it's playing a good defensive role for Mannheim, though they're going to have to need some help on offense as well, which has been a very difficult thing for them to generate. They're going to have to hope for better luck in the next match. The final seconds have ticked down. Even on this last push forward, Octagon not able to put it between the sticks. It'll roll back out to mid and will hit the turf for Garnet Valley to cap off yet another fantastic game with the substitute in, and one game away from securing a semifinal berth.
Crossbar, a lot like me in elementary school. I didn't get picked for a lot of basketball teams, and hey, you know what? I got on the court there anywhere, and I was an absolute menace to society. I was never working for or against one general team. Just everybody tended to hate me and blame me for their misfortunes. So the Crossbar here, it's been kind, and it's also been very hurtful towards Garnet Valley. Don't tell them that, though. Match point, going into game number 4, and Mannheim Township still looking for answers.
Yeah, I think they're looking for answers. I think they're also alternatively just looking for shots. When they do get forward, it's almost like they're kind of shaking at the controller, wondering like, do I put this on target quickly? Do I try to go for a flick? And I think the composure in front of net is something that Garnet Valley is definitely showing. Granted, when you are also in the driver's seat, it can feel a little bit more relaxing knowing that even if I miss this, not a big deal. I trust my teammates to be in the back, be able to secure my position. And whereas I feel like when you are on the side of Mannheim Township, you understand that when you do have an open shot, you absolutely need to take it, because across these different games, I believe the highest number of shots that they've been able to muster is 3. And when you have only 3 shots essentially per game and you're not making one count, it can really weigh on the confidence. So if there's any time for a turnaround, it is right now. Game 4, facing down a match point Mannheim Township. What do you got to pull out of that?
Well, they do have to go up against Sky yet again. Sky has returned from what I imagine would be a technical difficulty in this one. Oh boy, that's just a roller in. Gumgod gonna get credit for it, but this one took the long way home.
And honestly, it might just look like a clunker of a goal. And granted, yeah, it does look like it's going in really slowly, but that is the difference in high-level play, is you have to assume these touches are come in. Gumgod actually gets that perfect flip reset. First defender falls for it, trying to play the block. The second defender is expecting an immediate foul, but Gumgod instead uses their flip to wave dash backwards away from the ball. So that takes care of the second guy. And the third one is just thinking, anyone's going to get a touch before me, and is not able to react in time. So even though it looks a little weird, it is all based around the mechanics of Gumgod. Well generated, and might be from Sky, just lurking on that back post.
This is what I wanted to see. A little bit of team play. Sky forward, catches the pass from E-Man. This is a team to behold in Garnet Valley, and I'm excited. Mannheim, they're down by 2. Their work is more than just cut out for them. They are in dire straits, and they're going to need a little more than just a Sultan to swing this one in their momentum. I don't know if they can do it. Taco, again, we've seen little things here and there, and Octagon gonna get one from the midfield. I'm saying there's a chance.
Yeah, a little bit of cocky play there. Gumgod was actually going for a pre-jump off of Sky's flip reset pass, and granted, the third player, they wanted to get involved as well. E-Man was creeping up, but then as long as that miss came in, that log clears all they needed. Whether or not that's going to be replicable, we'll have to see, because that was somewhat of a, maybe not a giveaway goal, but it was teed up for Mannheim. That's a heck of a flick. E-Man gonna get caught out again. 2 players committing. They didn't anticipate it. Mannheim Township suddenly getting a flurry of chances, but not able to put it away. Gumgod trying to have their chance, but Sky too close to the near post, and this time will be to the benefit of Mannheim.
There probably should have been a 2-goal swing there, Taco, but it does not follow through. We do see a quick 1-2. E-Man has a wide open net, will miss it. Another opportunity here for Mannheim if they can get behind the ball. Sky The quick one tap up onto the backboard. Again, undefended. It's something that needs to be addressed. And now Gumgod just walks this one in. It's a 3-1 lead.
Normally this team in Garnet Valley was so assured, but after that one goal and then they open net miss, you can almost see Gumgod about to flip into it and says, no, wait. And then repositions and just get the safe little tap down the middle to dribble it all the way home across the goal line. Because they know this game not necessarily is in danger of being lost by them, but this was the closest game that they had, and a couple shots going a different way very well could have made this a different scoreline. But Manheim, 3 minutes remaining, and some nice aerials to boot, and can get them right back in. And Octagon again striking.
From the midfield, it is Octagon drawing another breath here for Manheim Township. The streaks are on. They're coming online. It's game number 4, and they might be able to pull something off here in the latter portion of this series.
See if Dr. Phil has anything in store. No, Octagon not necessarily.
No.
But
Ooh,
that's a brilliant scene. And actually, with all 3 players upfield for Garnet Valley, that was almost a breakaway, but a fantastic flick forward by Gumgod. That's a giveaway. Dr. Phil, and straight down the middle. There's the tying goal out of nowhere. Manheim Township getting it done.
Oh, that's not exactly the best of passes to the mid when there is no one there with Sky. Also, though, it's a more than just a glimmer of hope. This is a full-on change of momentum. They have flipped the script. They've turned the entire series on its head, and they are looking to break the potential broom that Garnet Valley decided to break out. Maybe just a little bit too early here. Octagon into the offensive zone, cannot break by the defenses of Sky, but given the ball away, it's Flossie looking for an extra touch off the backboard. Can they get a follow-up? Little bit of a mishap, Flossie. Towards the net, it's dangerous, but not gonna go in this time around, and they're gonna look to recoup themselves in the midfield.
Sky with a good cutout. That was several, let's say a full minute almost, it seemed like, where they were just chasing the ball around Garnet Valley and were not able to get solid contact. So now that they do have a bit of possession back, they'll try to build from it. It's a dap out to Sky, or rather from E-Man. They're not going to be able to follow through, and now we're getting back into that routine offensive rotation as well as some demos. Sky a bit frustrated with the way this game has been going. You can't really blame them. This is a very good play out of Manheim Township, just taking advantage of all the mistakes that have flowed their way. 90 seconds remaining. I'm curious to see if there's a bit more acts of heroism in store, especially with all this confidence in the slow play. Flossie pass 2. It's a high roller. There's no one on the backboard. It's dropping straight down, but no one wants to take a bite. Manheim will stay at midfield as another clear rings through.
Oh no, and Gumgod able to snipe this one from the midfield. This sets up so well. Sky with the vision, pushing forward, and the brilliant finish from midfield. Top cheddar down. We talked about the fickle partner that is the crossbar, in favor this time of the Jaguars. And now only 70 seconds left. Manheim have done so much. They've gathered a lot of momentum. They want to be the first team to take a game off of the undefeated Jaguars. Can they do that here? Only time will tell, but an unguarded backboard, so dangerous. Gumgod gonna put another one away.
Yeah, Gumgod getting dapped up by E-Man. It's a nice little tap, and even though they're going for a double tap themselves, confidence and the communication to let their teammate know, hey, just follow this up just in case, because it's just going to be a sitter in front of net, finishing on display yet again. Right now, Garnet Valley, I think if you already were not impressed by their resume because you have seen their results on display on paper, this is what it looks like when you put that full action on display for everyone to see. This has been top to bottom an impressive performance, maybe a bit shaky in game number 4, but ultimately they're the ones on top, and they're just looking to put a bow on this series. 3-person passing play, and who else? Sky to put on number 6.
My goodness, and this one has completely broken open after such a positive effort by Manheim Township in this game number 4. It's a feels bad moment, Taco, because you don't want to just see a team right off into the sunset the way Garnet Valley are putting Mannheim Township out right now, looking for more. Sky, that is the full distance of the pitch. What are you doing?
And a lot of people will say, well, 3v3 is a team-based game mode. It's not all about mechanics. But when you have a player with the mechanics like Sky, they can be a game changer. That was a 100% solo individual effort, taking it from coast to coast. And certainly that is a player to watch for the rest of this tournament. And I'm sure every team on their side of the bracket is looking toward this team with a lot of terror. This is not only just a 4-0 sweep, but it is an offensive showcase for Garnet Valley. They have closed out this series. They will be moving on with a clean 4-0 sweep on to Sunday's semifinals.
The final crescendo, it was the Sky full court carry. And it is Garnet Valley. The Jaguars still looking for more. This is some zero time, and they will not get that one by the look of it, but they are continuing to keep this one up. The original Rule 1 being played out towards the tail end of this game. Garnet Valley, the Jags, they are for real.
And I think right now they are just making sure that everyone knows that. Also, I like the mentality there. They have the game won. The ball's at 0 seconds. I'm saying, okay, it's over. We can move on. And GV just looking at the scoreboard saying, we can probably get one more. And just trying to dribble it, keep it up in the air. I like them having fun, and certainly it's hard not to have fun when you have multiple players hitting hat tricks throughout that game. Number one, a tough fall there from Grace from Mannheim Township, but I did like how they looked down the stretch, just couldn't be able to sustain it long enough to be able to take that lead.
Well, Taco, we are going to be keeping the ball rolling, much like our two teams at the end of that stint. We are going to be going to a quick break here, but we have the 4th seed and the 5th seed going to be going up against each other. It's the Avonworth Antelopes versus Bishop McDevitt. Folks, you don't want to go away. You're watching the PIEA State Quarterfinals. And welcome back, one and all. We have returned for the second quarterfinal of the night. And Kendo Slice here alongside the Danger Taco. Bishop McDevitt, 6-1. They're 13-5 overall in their games versus Avonworth. The Antelopes, they are 6-1 as well, 13-2. This one has the promise of being a very interesting interdivisional match.
Absolutely. Series record on point. The games nearly identical. And of course, those seeds adjacent to one another. So granted, I'm looking for a very close matchup, and that would be a nice palate cleanser after that first round matchup here for Garnet Valley and Mannheim Township. Once we get into the middle of the seeds, this is where it can be very, very difficult to see what team emerges on top. So game number one, maybe going to give us some insight into how the rest of this series is going to go. Immediately 2 players sending it from Avonworth, but no goal yet.
Avonworth, someone I would call a dark horse in this. You're looking at them as the 4th seed, but they didn't even win their division. Of course, 4 divisions within PIEA this season. And the Avonworth was the 2nd within the Commonwealth. The Commonwealth putting together a 7-0 team and a 6-1 team, looking extremely good throughout the regular season. I'm excited because both of these teams showed me through the highlights throughout the season. They have a lot of what it takes, but that giveaway, it's going to be easy pickings for Swizzy Pierre.
And Swizzy Pierre, great name and a great follow through. This ball is not done. They throw it into weird position, makes the defense panic, and just the awareness of being able to steer that wide around on that far post to be able to have an easy tap in. It's not just a simplistic goal. There's a lot of pre-planning that goes into it. So nice to see that that is going to be the thing that gets a Bishop in the lead, and maybe even more to come because they have a fast break. This ball bouncing very dangerously around the corner, but not messing around. Is that clear? Back out to mid, and now we're seeing if Bishop and McDevitt can really try to put their foot down and try to command this lead, because with such a close series, more significant lead being opened up could certainly do a lot to change the tides here. That long ball I don't think is going to find its way through, but defense on the side of Avonworth not going to take any chances.
You win your division, that's always a major accomplishment. You cannot take that away from McDevitt. And that being said, they gave that ball away, and Zephyrus just did not punish them for it. Kaderp will get a quick return to sender right back into the offensive zone. And McDevitt, they're trying to loom large here in the midfield. It's just not enough. A quick one, too. Swizzy Pierre does keep this to the side, but possession, skittish for both teams.
And that's natural. It's game number one. You're knowing that, you got us jerks talking about you over your shoulder. And so it can be a lot to deal with, but not if you're Swizzy Pierre. They're getting it done. 2nd goal on the game. And again, just having that poacher mentality of staying in the play. Look at that immediate half rotation, because they know if they don't go right then, that defender has that clear.
All around the world, taking it to the solar system, it's Swizzy Pierre. Offense, defense, we've heard the name 3 times already just in the first 2 minutes. So great stuff ahead. Stingy Bay, so close, but Pierre got that out. What?
Ooh, another infield pass, though. That's another great save on the goal line. Can they get it clear? They have so many players up. It's a back pass into the goalie, and that one's going to get saved as well. Zephyrus is trying to do anything to retain that possession, and you have to think the comps for Avonworth are just wondering, what more do we have to do to get one across? Maybe a roller, and the speed to the midfield. After all that buildup, that's the way they're going to get their goal.
It will be Stingy to put this one away. A person of watch, person of interest for Avonworth. Stingy can create off of some of the aerial plays, but that quick roller on the transition is what pays off and hits said pay dirt in this circumstance. So now they cut the lead in half. We're already past halftime, Taco. 2:11 on the clock. Will they be able to find more? Now with that attitude, Swizzy Pierre. We've seen the offense, we've seen the defense, we've seen the disruption, the demo coming out.
Zephyrus, I love that idea. Instead of going through a defender, they go around him, and it's going to result in a pass. I am a Kiwi is the goal scorer on this one, just wrangling back, getting that nice pre-flip to be able to get close to the ball just enough to beat out that near post defender. And I asked for an even game. Here we are, 2-2 with 2 to go.
And that hurts just a little bit here. Is we've seen solid defense, we've seen disruption, but the disruption ended up being, I think, the key to that circumstance. Nobody on the back post ready and waiting. So now it's a 2-2 game. Anyone's game. They just have to reach out and take it. Stingy Bay looking to progress this ball through the midfield. Does get a 50-50 in addition, so winning the race. But at the same time, you're seeing double commits here and there. Both teams relatively in chaos as far as the rotations go. I understand the tenacity. I understand you want to take control of this game, but you're going to have to do it with a little more calculated effort.
These deeper balls, I do like the awareness coming through from Evansworth. They're sending the ball deep to test that backboard, because every time you see it open, it's just enough to throw forward, make the defense waste their boost, and then you can capitalize on that loose ball afterwards. In a minute remaining, it's a good strategy to take, especially because they seem to be the one starting to press down on that gas pedal. Make sure they don't want to press too hard, because the counterattack is always a threat. Double tap, no contact. Third man coming through. It's well above the goal, and Zephyrus will be there to not only clear it, but to tap it past everyone. Open net, but no power remaining. That one only going to roll one more under the near post, and despite all this ping pong around that blue half, it will inevitably get cleared.
We are starting to see a little more control from both of these teams being exuded. I enjoyed the back pass that we saw from Kaderp to Pro Snipes here about a minute ago, and it really is put together a very calculated effort from both of these teams. They're looking for the transition goals. They're really trying to pick up the pace of play, and I don't think it's doing anybody a disservice, but it hasn't led to a goal just yet. A quick miss, a little bit of misdirection, and this ball at 0 seconds is going to fall. We go to an overtime game number 1.
Yeah, Zephyrus doesn't want to take any chances. They're headed into the ground. They'll take their chances in sudden death for a game number 1. Maybe that's going to be a mistake, because Lucy Pierre had a great chance off the bat, but now it's I'm a Kiwi trying to slow play their way up. You mentioned the closer control. I think over time it's really going to be telling how close these teams can keep the ball, make sure that nothing erroneous does come out of their touches.
That's the last thing you want, to lose by error. And mistakes can sometimes be a game changer as well as a entire series maker. We do have Zephyrus off the backboard again. Gonna take this all the way. Backboard defense by Zephyrus creates.
You just see that third player all the way up. They're almost like they're anticipating that ball to go through, and they just want to be there for the goal. And the problem is that so much of this offensive rotation is going to be made by having that third man in a stable position to keep your attack going. No one home, and Zephyrus will be glad to collect that one. Avondale get squeaking by your very close game 1 to take our series lead.
One of the things I love about what PIEA does, Taco, is during the regular season, you're talking about best of 3s, but you get into the playoffs and you open everything up wide. Best of 7 here. So the mentality going into game number 2 is going to be, okay, I got to win here because I don't want to lose the series, but you have a little bit more time. It's going to make game number 2 all the more high stakes, because these teams, they've been trained. This game number 2 is the most important.
And it's all about bouncing back. I think the worst thing you can really think to yourself, especially if you are on the side of Bishop Devitt and you're taking a loss there and you're thinking, that comes off essentially just a mismanagement of movement. The first goal for Avonworth was actually just a ball that was loose in the midfield. It got touched over the top. That's fine. You can adjust from that. But losing in overtime, doing an overcommit, that can be brutal. You just got to laugh it off, say, okay, that was a little silly by us. We got a bit too far forward. And then move into game number 2 and consolidate everything that you've seen in that game with your offense, getting those quality shots, keeping that pressure, playing predictive, and just trusting in the system. You got plenty of time in this best of 7.
Yes, you do, as well as a clean slate and a fresh clock, and they're going to waste no time. I am Kiwi. First goal on the board.
I'm a Kiwi, more like I am a striker, because these are some tough angles. They know they have an open net, but you still have to wrap all the way around that one, and they do it so well in that lovely breakout with the Stormwatch decal. 1-0 after 4 seconds. I was going to say, Bishop McDevitt, you can't get down to yourself, but that's not going to help the ego.
I like the fact we're going with the styles here. We are definitely on the lookout. Who's got the nicest looking car? And so far, I do like the Stormwatch. Forget that, though. Swizzy Pierre coming in.
Oh my God, look at this flick, though. The pre-flip, I don't know if that's on purpose. I'm going to just assume it is. That was brilliant. The first flick does just enough, but the follow-through on the come-up from the back wheel to tuck it over that second offender, I guarantee had no idea that was on its way.
I mean, I used to do that in the Merc all the time, my friend. It's just regular thing. Everybody can do it. No, not everybody can do it. Here is a shot. Big save by Kadurp on the goal line. They're going to have to come out with another, and it's Swizzy Pierre yet again to make sure that ball stays out. Still looming large are the Antelopes. They are looking for more, and a weak touch in the midfield will change the fortunes of possession. And now McDevitt, they are looking. They want something. Taco, will they be able to put together a completed thought offensively? They've been in with a shout on occasion, but it hasn't been much beyond that. What a save by Kadurp.
And a lot of pressure on the near post. Is it going to break that post off of that post? What? And another clear. Stingy Bay going to send it deep. That 2 will be wide, but not going to stop Oof from trying to go up for it regardless. And I love what I'm seeing from Abendworth. I like their intermixing of these close passing plays and the willingness to send a shot from deep just to make sure the defense on their toes.
I sound dire when I'm talking about McDevitt right now because it's been the defense that's been the star for me as I'm watching them. Not here, though, as we are seeing a triage of misses. I'm a Kiwi. Able to score from the midfield. That is 1. That is 2. That is Oof from Pro Snipes. And you could have done a lot better.
And that's part of the issue of staggered defense. The first man challenge, especially on a dribble, the whole point is just to force the offensive player to do something with. The second person has to be far enough away that they can generate a challenge on the incoming flick over or past that first player, but not so close that happens. The one flick goes by, Oof realizes they can't turn in time, and then a simplistic flick that's only meant to beat one ends up undoing the entire defense. Still well worked by the side of Abendworth, and now do have a lead to work with as we just hit halftime. This game, despite as fun as it's been, it feels like it's crawling by just because it's been so fast-paced. I feel like I've been watching this game for 10 minutes. It seems like the gauntlet is really being thrown down from both sides. A lot of offensive opportunities. It seems like Abendworth getting the better look at most of them, but I'm very, I would say, very reticent to be counting out the Bishop McDevitt side as of yet.
Yeah, by no means. This defense has already shown us that they have what it takes to pull off miracles on the goal line. They've also been able to transpose that great defense into offense. They're looking for physical plays to try to open up a hole back the other way. And this is a little messy, but mucking it up can sometimes open up the defense, make them more vulnerable. Won't in this case, but they've kept the ball in the offensive zone for so long. Working the corners, Kadurp has a secondary touch, chooses to go with the back pass. That's going to be high above the box, and Stingy Bay just able to get it to the side.
Being a staggered defense on offense is important as well. You need to have someone flowing forward as you have people coming back. That last attack, they lobbed it high, and then everyone was going back at the same time. Got to make sure you have at least someone flowing forward to make sure that defense has something to be concerned about. Kind of like that, the air dribble in the middle required 2 players in the side of Bishop McDevitt to get that save. But on these breakaway opportunities, I want to see Bishop McDevitt have something with a bit more venom, put it on target, and take advantage of these open nets. A couple misses. They were not able to predict it. Now all of Abendworth back to defend, and fortunately so, still barely hanging on to that 1-goal lead.
I don't see anybody in the Venom, Taco. I don't know what you're talking. I'm joking with you, of course. Venom, one of the cars available to anyone of these student athletes as they are looking for their vehicle of choice. We won't see it here today, and this Fennec from Swissy Pierre has been all over the pitch, causing havoc. Going to be looking to win that 50-50, looking to win another one. Will not win the second one, but does afford possession in the offensive zone is what they need with 30 seconds to go. Off the backboard, not enough though. Stingy Bay is going to score, and that's a 2-goal deficit.
That's a nice little goal from Stingy Bay. Look at the patience to just get the 50, and that shows a lot of maturity. A lot of players will just want to clang that shot as hard as possible, try to force it through the defense, but they know if they just get quality contact enough to hold it in place, or better yet, sneak it underneath the defender, that's just as good, and going to get rewarded for that foresight. 20 seconds remaining, all it's going to take for them to take a 2-0 lead in the series.
Your staying power in those 50-50s is so much more important than your initial power. And if you can back up what you initiate with, oh my, you can create off of those 50s. We are going to see 0 seconds hit the clock. It is nothing but solace at this point. If McDevitt got a goal, it's the Avonworth Antelopes taking the 2-game lead early. And they're doing it by really just purely outshooting McDevitt.
I would say they do have more opportunities, but this is one of the devastating games in which not only are they having better quantity, but they're having better quality as well. Most of these shots require a definitive save. I feel like when Bishop McDevitt does get forward, there have been times where they shoot the ball and it makes Avonworth a little bit anxious. They have to kind of dive at it, and they're just kind of panicking, throwing to the side. But for the most part, it's just kind of a lob forward, and they're saying, that's fine. And then they retreat out for boost. I want them to get more aggressive. Lob that high, go for a demo, steal some boost, get a little bit in the face of the defenders, because right now, what you're doing isn't working well enough. These games have been close, but it doesn't matter if you're close if you're still on the losing end of it. Game number 3, this is such a pivotal moment in the series for Bishop McDevitt.
I would agree with you. Plus 11 on the shot count, plus 12 if you include that one, and plus 13 now as they do get another. So it has been pretty rough. I was looking, the first 2 games totaled 12 for McDevitt, and that is equal to what we saw from Avonworth in game number 1. It does need to improve. That being said, you cannot take away from the McDevitt defense. They have been brilliant so far. It's just you can't always completely win games and win championships with defense, which is contrary to what I've been taught in other esports.
Well, of course, in that saying of saying defense wins championships, that's at least going to prevent you from losing, but it doesn't necessarily get you the victory, because the offense, the assumption is you're going to eventually get a goal. The problem is that doesn't always happen when you are being locked down. Really, the saying I've always been a bigger fan of is that the best defense is a good offense, and I think we're definitely seeing that from the side of Avonworth. They are consistently pushing forward, making these dangerous moves, and mixing in good passing plays along with solo mechanics just to make the defense really off guard, off kilter, and it's generating a lot of close opportunities. How about Stingy Bay? They've been at the center of a lot of it. Not going to get any chance on this. Derp shuts it down.
My goodness. I would like to see that stingy defense that we've seen from McDevitt move the position of challenge up just a little bit more. That could go so far. Swissy Pierre does have a chance. They're going to bring this ball down into a trap. Doesn't get the 50, though. That could have been a goal, and an initial goal could have gone a long way into changing the tide of momentum. Right now, they will settle for a goose egg first 2 minutes in game number 3, as they are, once again, they're keeping their ground. They're on solid ground. They are keeping this ball out dangerous in the box. But it's, again, so much more offense coming from the Antelopes.
We're still seeing an even scoreline, but that could change at the drop of a hat, especially with all these missed. They stepped up big earlier in the series, and they're going to step up in a big way now. 1-0, taking advantage of the whips.
And now you have a chance to play with the lead. If you're Bishop McDevitt, you want to take the ball and run with it. Do not allow yourself to play complete defense. Keep the pressure on. We've seen that position of challenge. We've seen that position of play. The forecheck coming forward for Bishop McDevitt, and if they can continue it, they might be able to find the solace, the light at the end of the tunnel here in game number 3.
And it's all about consistency at this point. They have really struggled on defense down the stretch because Avonworth, again, getting a lot of shots, but more importantly, they're putting the ball with a lot of pace on target. Swizzy Pierre, they're going to take advantage of things on defense as well, getting the clear and the roll down, and maybe even more. Another loose ball. It's a lob on the near post. Not going to go through, but that's why Kaderp is backing him up. That's 2-0.
You always want to never go alone, and it is Swizzy Pierre. Sets up perfectly, was there in position, but did not get the touch. Kaderp sees the mishap and comes in with a clean follow. They're up by 2 now. Just under 2 minutes left in game number 3. This is the Bishop McDevitt team I was expecting, and they are looking for more. Another shot, but I'm a Kiwi. Just able to keep this out.
And there's just something about getting those goals through pace of play, not through clunky giveaways, that are just like a shot in the arm to a team on offense, where you suddenly are just overcome with confidence, and then everything seems to click for you. And right now, nothing seems to be going the way of Avenue, where they're flailing around. They don't know how to defend against this reinvigorated Bishop McDevitt squad. They're trying these infield passes, but even that one going to get shut closed by Kaderp on the quick challenge.
It seems like the sustain that was there through the first 2 games no longer able to come and bear fruit. They have gone away from what has worked thus far, and I think it's credit to Bishop McDevitt adjusting their pace of play, adjusting the way they go. This is a need that Stingy Bay cannot score upon, and they're going to feel that one come game 4 if they end up losing.
That's so tough. And I understand exactly why they did it. They wanted to chip it into the top shelf because they knew if they shot it low, it was blocked. But then they shot it a pixel too high, and it's going to go over. And especially with 42 seconds remaining, that's just not a goal for the road. You take it to the next match. That could very well have been the goal that gave them a fighting chance. But with 30 seconds remaining, they need anything before 0 seconds if they want to be able to pull out a Game 3 victory. That's a pretty decent start from Zephyrus, but the second and third man waiting too far back, and that clear ringing through is going to milk off a lot of precious seconds.
Big push here. Stingy Bay able to get the save despite being physically bumped on the goal line. And one goal could be the difference. It just might be too little too late. Zephyrus wide on the touch. This one looks like it's going to come up. Bishop McDevitt in blue. And they are going to win 2-0. 2-0.
That's a beautiful thing to see, specifically because we said match or game 3 in any series is incredibly important, obviously because you're not on match point anymore, but because it shows that you can have a foothold in it. Now it's not the psychological hurdle of, oh my goodness, we have to reverse it. It's just, oh, one more game and we're tied. And then everything starts to open up for you, especially when you get offense like that. Swizzy Pierre, they were stepping up huge in game number 1, and they're right back at it in this one, shooting 5 of the 9 shots for Bishop McDevitt and putting in crucial one and assisting another, just getting it done. And it's always nice to have that front man being able to get the job done when they need it most.
Indeed it is, and I'm looking forward to seeing if they can maintain this momentum going into game number 4. Really, it was keeping things out of the box. And once they got there, it seemed like for Avonworth, the push that was so concerted in the midfield and onward, it became this quick fire offense. They were pushing so hard that it was going side to side, hard off the backboard, but never really in dangerous scoring confines. They weren't even able to get those signature double-digit shots that we've come to know them for, Stingy Bay. Oh, that would have been a brilliant 50-50. Instead, it will go all the way back the opposite direction, and they are going to look to team effort this ball right back into the offensive zone. Big miss as that ball will fall neutral.
That's really open, but only temporarily. They couldn't get the flick, but they're trying their darndest to throw it somewhere on target. Another follow-up, this time to the back post from Stingy Bay, off the post and in. That was so tantalizing and close to the defense, but even rushing to the ball's aid, not able to smack it clear.
Right now, you're seeing brilliance coming from the side of Avonworth. They are not allowing Bishop McDevitt to have that free reign, the free real estate that was right there in the midfield through game number 3. The adjustments are pure, and that might be a shot. Oh my, it would have been so unfortunate an own goal if it had gone in. They are going to continue to keep this effort forward, though, and Katerp does manage to get them a breath of air. And a goal! Wow!
Wow, 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 wow from Kaderp. The cut here, but then look at this, the slowdown to beat the defender, and then gets past, recognizes a gap in the defense, and takes it. That is some marksman quality shooting coming through from the side of Kaderp, and that's a great way to tie things up.
I mean, I saw both defenders there. You had one on, and then you had one that is flaring towards the box. I'm bewildered that they were able to put that one away. So brilliant stuff, as now they have tied the game. They are looking for more. It's ball right back into the offensive zone, and who else but Swizzy Pierre to push it forward. Thingy Bay looking to slow things down, gets a double demolition. Chance for a 2v1, looking for more. Here comes Kiwi. The flick up. Is it over? Not quite. I like the idea, and 3 demos on the front end of that play. They probably could have committed pay dirt, but they will settle for control of the ball and the boost advantage that comes with it.
Yeah, I don't know if Avonworth is taking any notes off of that. All I know is that if they continue this demo play and keep warded like this, they might come back to it. No demos involved here. It's just I have a Kiwi striking from a 0 angle.
The ball goes to the corner to die at times, but if you fiddle-faddle too much, a errant 50-50 can easily become the angle of the year, and that is what Avonworth were the advantageous benefactors of. I am a Kiwi somehow finding that one, and it's all because of pressure. I think we have our key to the game for both of these teams. Who can win out on this consistent pressure battle? Right now in the clubhouse, it's Avonworth, but Bishop McDevitt have shown to be worthy foes.
Yeah, the thing I'm liking from Bishop McDevitt is that they're not buckling under this pressure. If you're gonna get scored on, it better be from a crazy angle or like the one we just saw. And at least for right now, they're not giving up silly goals like we saw earlier on in the series. And I think that's something you can build off of. Being only in a situation in which the next win would be a match point for Avonworth, they still have some flexibility in the series at large, but knowing that there's 2 minutes remaining can be a nice thing to keep in the back of your mind. Knowing you're only 1 goal away means you don't have to send the house on every attack. Just wait for your opportunity and then strike when it presents itself. How about this one? Near post, Swizzy Pierre, though, this time going to get interfered with. That clear going to go through finally from Zephyrus, and we're right back out to midfield for some 50-50 play.
My goodness, I love the back and forth between these two teams, but you cannot allow a loose ball in the box, and Stingy Bay has been there like a stingray. The moment that ball finds itself in dangerous confines, who else but Stingy to put it away?
And they've really been in the center of a lot of plays. The thing I've been impressed by is their willingness to take a slow play and then keep a very close air dribble at goal several different times, which can cause so much uncertainty for the defense. So too, get just a long ball forward, double tap from I am a Kiwi, and they will not miss any of the angles. This game 4-1, and it has really opened up here in the past 3.5 minutes.
They have broken this one open quite far, and I am a Kiwi. A catalyst. Positioning by Stingy has been brilliant, but I am a Kiwi always seems to be there to finish off the most imperative touches, whether it be the initiation in, or in that case, making sure that a lofted ball in the box is put away. They're up by 3. There is still a chance for Bishop McDevitt on the back end of this one, but the momentum very clearly favoring the Antelope. They have horns.
And they're making a good use of them this time. Stingray not going to get that goal. I think at this point, this is what I would call a morale victory. If you're Avonworth, you got a bit shaken in that last game, so now you just want to pour it on in this game, put it beyond all doubt, and really make Bishop McDevitt really feel the pain of your offense, because this is it performing when all cylinders are firing. All the touches are going through, every player's getting involved in the end of the day, and it's a somewhat of a return to form, if not their very peak within this series. Bishop McDevitt, I think, necessarily is in a situation where you are GG, go next. Focus on what you did well, but try to put this one in the back of your mind.
That'll be exactly what they tried to do with this last 25 seconds, and maybe even in the process for a goal going away. That could go a long way in trying to reverse the fate that seems to be put on them here in game number 4. They know that they're going to be on match point. They know that they had tournament lives on the line, and they have represented themselves well. But I am Kiwi. I am a Kiwi. Wow.
That's going to be yet another goal for them. Just striking that one very cleanly. And you got to feel for Kaderp. They're actually on the back wall, realizing it's most likely not going to go there. And then right as they jump to get off, that comes in with the shot. Tough timing, but not much you can do. And it's not like it's really going to influence the end of this one. Avonsworth going to be able to get that 3-1, 1 game away from sealing a trip to our semis.
Well, and a potential date with Garnet Valley. I know not exactly the team that you want to face, but it is a return to form for the Antelope. 10 shots to 2. Very oppressive mentality on the offensive end of things, and I'm looking for Swizzy Pierre. I need a little bit more of that patented offense that was made Bishop McDevitt so dangerous, especially when they are in the middle of the pitch. Can they mount a comeback here? Yes, it is 3-1. Yes, you are on that match point here in the game 5. Your back is against the wall, and usually that brings out the best in you. Swizzy Pierre, call the name. There he is.
It's right off of the kickoff as well, which are so tough because even though you have defenders kind of unmarketed, you have a little bit more time to place it. You still have to wrap all the way around the shot, and they do it with aplomb. A lot of power, tucking it past and threading the needle, so to speak, between two of those defenders. 5 seconds in, and that's exactly the response you want if you are facing down match point.
You want to know who Swizzy Pierre is? Who asked anyway? It's all I'm going to say. You got to love what we have seen so far. You call upon a name and they show up. Both of these teams very, very apt in this gauntlet that we call Rocket League. 30 seconds gone by. Of course, they're going to enjoy having that 1-goal lead. They did so much with the momentum in game number 3. Let's see if they can do it again. This ball, he pushed hard off of the defensive line. Swizzy Pierre gets to the side. I like the fact they're moving up together, but you don't want to double commit on the breakout because this is going to allow a lot more time for a prospective Avonworth offense.
Zephyrus try to half rotate in, which normally is a bad thing, but it seems like everyone at Avonworth is doing a good job of actually not bumping into each other. We've seen very rarely them sending multiple players for the same ball, and even double taps like that from Zephyrus will prevent them from getting countered. I think the coordination from Avonworth is what has made the difference through most of this play. Even though they're having a lot of shots, you could say, well, the offense might just be stronger, but it really starts from home. Those bare essentials, kind of the intangible aspects of the game, how well you're rotating around each other. I think Bishop McDevitt needs to take a page out of that playbook and try to look for these shorter passes. They've repeatedly gone to that backboard, but unless the ball bounces out to the front bumper of Swizzy Pierre, it doesn't seem like they have many opportunities outside of those rare openings off mistakes.
Oh, here is an opening. Stingy Bay. Slow play around 1. I like the mentality, and they are going to afford themselves a little more time in the offensive zone with just that. I am a Kiwi. Takes to the sky. Here's an additional touch. Will miss out, though, as Stingy Bay is there on the back line to at least get this ball to the side and create the opportunity for the defense to get back. They put themselves in dangerous confines, but they were very close to converting on what would have been a tough shot to defend.
Yeah, so Crease Monkey will take their turn with a very long clear, and they're just going to back up. They're ready for that clear because they know the follow-up is what's going to matter. That clear barely to the corner as Zephyrus will take over. Kaderp giving some chase, but it's going to be Zephyrus setting up a nice double tap. It's a roller around. They have sent 2 on that one. They were a bit too bloodthirsty to be able to get that shot because they understand that they are getting near the goal, but facing down a 1-goal lead and not be fun for them. They're not used to playing from behind in this series.
No, they are not, and it's really caused them havoc. It's changed the entire dichotomy of where this ball is being challenged, where the push is being related and combated, and now it just seems like a nerfed version of the Avonworth team that, 12 shots, 11 shots, 10 shots. Right now, they aren't sitting on one of those huge double-digit totals. They aren't looking like they're going to draw close enough to it to mount a potential comeback, but the solace is 1 goal differential. 1 goal is all it's going to take, and they could really change everything with a quick 1-2. Did you see that negative angle potential? My goodness, Taco was so close. Now it's a 1v1. Can they get through? No. Kadurf misses the 50-50.
Yeah, but still on defense.
Oh!
There is a Bishop and Stingy Bay. Who else in the center of it all getting that goal? Great job by Ayabakiwi with the pre-flip to get closer, and a brilliant setup.
They're so well aware and attuned to their roles, and it's Kiwi initiating yet again to create Avonworth. They tie everything up. There is 66 seconds left on the clock, and 1 more goal potentially on the docket before that potential 0-0 timeline. The death counter has begun. Oh no! That's backwards! That's potentially in the goal. Susie Pierre will get across for it. My goodness! That was so close to being a tragic own goal.
My goodness, that was like pure concentrated chaos for a bit of a second. I was speechless. I had no idea what was going to be happening, but fortunately for the side of Bishop McDevitt, that's going to be a clear in the end. Now we're going to have to hope for some offense of their own. Maybe they can pull something out before regulation. Caderp is certainly giving it their best chance. Susie Pierre in the mix with a quality 50. It's going to remain in the orange corner. Grease Monkey is going to be playing a very deep role. Is that going to open up enough space for Ayabakiwi? They're not going to be able to find their finish that time. We're just going to go back into the corner with these half rotations. The aggression shown from both teams, but ultimately only one can come out on top. A couple whiffs. Swizzy Pierre, they're trying to stay calm under a lot of pressure, and they're going to hold 1 more second remaining. It's going to stay in the air. He curves around it. He has a dribble, but it's going to get shot dead right into the ceiling and now into the floor. A very close game, just like this series has been. We're in overtime with potential of the series on the line.
The promised land of content finally achieved here between these two teams, and who knows? We may just see an extension of this series. I'm all for more content. I hope you are as well, Taco. Swizzy Pierre looking to keep a neutral ball in the offensive zone instead. It's a hard retreat for McDevitt. Kaderp, that is off the backboard, misses the initial touch. Yes, they're there, and a counterattack may go a long way, but you're seeing not as much ordering off of the McDevitt side. A big demo. Another one! Shot! Score! Sephiroth will win it for Avonworth!
Look at the play from Kiwi. They only had one thought on their mind, demoing one, and Crease Monkey. They were left all alone against 2 players. Zephyrus trusting in the teammates, trusted in Ayabakiwi, and they will be entrusted with a semi-final berth. AHS Avonworth taken on to the semifinals.
They galloped into that one. That was so good. And we raved about Ayabakiwi throughout this entire series, and it's definitely gonna get my star of the match, someone I'm gonna be looking forward to in that semifinal, trying to do and make things happen for Avonworth. That's exactly what they did. They were the initiator. They were there to finish off those extra touches in the box when needed, but a lot of the time it was the intangible stuff. It was the stuff that didn't show up on the scoreboard, Taco, that was the difference. And Ayabakiwi, chef's kiss. Mwah.
And it's certainly something from one food to another in terms of usernames. I really do appreciate what the Kiwi was bringing to the table, but I think admirably, the thing that I really appreciated about that Avonworth squad is that even though they did have a little bit more disparate stats with one player maybe getting more goals or more assists, there wasn't really a definitive third man in that a player was sitting outside of the spotlight. Everyone had their shining moments because they were all playing a part in this wonderful ballet that we watched on the field, with everyone in sync, playing their role, and I think it's a well-deserved victory. Of course, hitting a bump with a single game loss, but ultimately, I don't think that's going to really dampen down on the celebrations. It is a good job to get into that main event, which is going to be taking place this Sunday, and I'm very curious to see how this team is going to work. I loved what I was seeing out of them.
Well, we got more ballet on the docket for you here tonight. I mean, Rocket League. Keep your tights on. It's okay, my friends. We are going to be right back. It is going to be even more positive action. Keystone Division representative Pinecrest B. Their Cinderella story. They're going to be going up against Mannheim Township Blue, the Streaks. The other representation from Mannheim Township going to show themselves off. You don't want to miss it. And we are back once again here live. It's the PIEA Rocket League Quarterfinals. The state of Pennsylvania. I mean, stand on your feet. There is some amazing plays still in store for you tonight. Kendo Slice alongside the Danger Taco. And Taco, this one has a Cinderella story in it. Keystone Division, 4-3, 10-8. It's Pencrest B gonna be representing the Keystone well. They were up in the air getting into the playoffs in the last week. They managed to get in, and now they're here in the quarterfinals going up against Mannheim Blue.
Yeah, and this is going to be huge for Pencrest B, most notably because as the underdog, you're not anticipated to have maybe a stellar breakout performance, but when you have opportunities, you need to seize them, be able to fully embrace the opportunity, the moment, and then be able to strike with conviction. Whether or not they'll be able to stand up with Mannheim Township Blue, the second Mannheim Township team within this quarterfinal bracket, is another question altogether, but certainly I'm excited to see what Pencrest can bring to the table. A little bit of a struggling record throughout regular season, but that doesn't matter because that is the past. What matters is what's going to happen in the next 7 games.
Well, my friend, I'm looking forward to some amazing action. Of course, this is the blue streaks, not the white streaks. Second in the pin division, 6-1, and a grand total of 12-3. So a very respectable showing for them throughout the entire season. And I want to get into this. The pin division, of course, where Garnet Valley is. It's also where Chambers Blurred Blue is, another team that was in 6-1 confines. The pin division had 3 6-1 or 7-0 teams. So like 3 teams that only had 2 losses in between them. That is insane. It was probably the strongest division in the regular season. So I'm looking forward to seeing how Mannheim Township Blue shows up.
And right now, at least one of them is driving in one of the brand new cars, and I have to say it is beautiful to look at. Hopefully the gameplay will be matching that, as Barter in that new car is going to be trying to force the issue and stay on top of this ball, going for a double tap or at least a dunk. Detroit, they're waiting for an opportunity, but maybe they don't want to aggress too much. They're going to play patient. Might get rewarded with a lot of touches around. Will inevitably be cleared, so Pencrest B will survive, at least for now.
A Mustang Mach-E, the closest thing you're going to get to a Toyota Prius within the game, folks. Here is the shot on, and they are coming out swinging. Are this Pencrest B team doing a great job of keeping this ball. Hopefully they can keep it going, because I'm enjoying what we are seeing, the back and forth thus far. Both teams really with a chance. There goes $10. Probably one of my favorite names of the day for Pencrest B. They're right back on the defensive side. Here comes Angry. Angry with the clear. Maybe this will be a little more than just a shout. It could be falling in the box. Shot will be missed. And they're going to wish they had some more.
Yeah, Detroit was going to give it plenty more on that flick. Temporary save. There goes $10 with a nice little tap forward. But ultimately, going to be to Detroit. Tough angle, but they get the double. It's only going to go across. Barter keeping things alive. Another high lob. Third man where they're at. They're right there on top of the ball, but maybe could stand to be a little bit taller on it. Couldn't get full power and direction. It's just going to ricochet around the goal and draw that pressure. Still no goal to be seen from Mannheim Township Blue, but certainly they're making a case why they should be in the lead so far, but nothing too convincing as of yet.
There goes $10. Usually the thing I say when I am going to the local supermarket in the mood for ice cream. So I can definitely identify with the Pencrest
not gonna lie
here. Absolutely love it. They are staying stout defensively. Here comes Detroit, though. Chance off of the backboard. Once again, Pencrest B, stout defensively, not allowing anything by the last line of defense.
Oh, and also being able to get some shots. Detroit actually a bit too off-kilter there. They actually took that save away from their defender, so clearly they're not necessarily in the most comfortable mindset. Pencrest doing a good job of throwing some dangerous balls deep. How about this from Nexus? Aerial up quickly. No contact on the follow. Detroit will be able to tuck it to the side. $10. Keep it interesting. Nexus will steer around it. and at least just give the defense some second thoughts. But when I talked about earlier, sometimes game ones can be very cagey. I think this is kind of what I was getting at. This is fairly back and forth, just waiting for the pin to drop as we're still awaiting that opening goal. Only 90 seconds remaining until we have to go to overtime to find it.
I definitely want to make sure that you're watching your possession if you are man-time township, and you don't want to overcommit somebody in the tune of aggression forward. The defense has been borderline suffocating at times now with the ball. Desperately forward, it's going to be a roll ball with the first goal of the game. Man-time township on the board.
Yeah, but look at Roball right here. They see the whiff come in, and notice how they don't gun right toward it. They understand the space, and that's a crucial skill, because if they had just rushed immediately at it, they would have to probably tilt their car really far and kind of get a side roll, but instead they take a wider angle so they can just drive straight forward, and even if it isn't a tough angle, it's just driving straight and hitting the ball at a more agreeable angle for themselves. So that's going to be a nice goal to be taken, especially with 1 minute remaining. It might prove to be our winner unless they can't get back. Barter just in time, smacking that to the side.
Ooh, speaking of smack, there goes $10 looking to take somebody completely out of the play. Will afford them some possession here through the midfield. Angry staying with the ball. There's a double commit on the back end. Can they get the quick turnaround? Not quite. Quick turnaround could have led to a potential dangerous situation. Instead, it is just yet another neutral ball. And while this Pinecrest team has been very good at keeping the ball out, they haven't been very good at getting too many offensive efforts forward past the midfield line, and it's going to come back to bite them here. 7 seconds, one last chance. Can they get through and go the distance on 0 seconds? Not this game.
No, not at all, but that is a whisker of a margin to be able to get that victory. Man Township is claiming game number 1, though they're certainly going to be looking over their shoulder throughout this game. 1-0 is by no means any form of domination, although they did potentially seem that way on the stats, which is why Rocket League is mostly interpretive in terms of statistics. 8 shots to 2 when you do compare Manheim Township to that Pencrest squad. But at the end of the day, I think Pencrest was doing an admirable job of always being in the mix, always being so close. And of course, we talk about great names. Here comes yet another one as we see, I'm gonna have to read it closely. Punjabi antivirus. Punjabi antivirus. Not to be confused with Norton, which will charge you quite a bit on the front end. Punjabi antivirus, the antivirus for the people. It's sponsorship opportunities there in the works. I guarantee it. We do have a little bit of a team play there, as we see Manheim Township struggling to get this out of their zone. Punjabi antivirus almost getting on top of that ball. That could have been a shot on an open net. Instead, the breathing of a sigh of relief coming from the Manheim Township side of things. The defense, they're going to be very happy that they did not go away with a goal against. Here's Angry. It's off the top bar. It's so close. That's 2 shots now that could have led to goals. You wouldn't like him when he's angry. He almost showed why, getting that nice aerial for a shot. How about the follow-up? A lot of power, and luckily they had someone all the way back on the goal line to be able to prevent that one from going through. Pencrest knocking on the door, no answer yet. How about Detroit looking for one of their own? That's several times now they've gone for a double tap. Certainly a player to watch if you are the Pencrest defense.
Oh my, we saw a little bit of style points there. Punjabi going the distance, did not make contact. And I have a feeling the angle would have been there if they did. We do see a double commit, a triple commit even, into the corner, as well as the team bump. They won't pay for it this time around, but that is something you're going to have to watch out for. I like the aggression from Pencrest. They are much more attuned to getting themselves not only through the midfield, but in very dangerous confines, and a chance on towards the net score. They break the ice, and it's Angry.
Angry is going to have to be happy with this one. Dribbling past 2, still a lot to do. And look at this, gets all the way in front for a bump, realizes none is required, so they just hit on the brakes and tap it into that open net. 1-0 to Pencrest. Very well deserved. They have been asking a lot of questions throughout this game.
Oh boy, here we go again. And what control? It's changed. Definitely has... I would say surfaced as a much more aggressive demeanor from Pencrest. There goes $10, leading way to the Punjabi antivirus, and I have enjoyed so far the way they feel different. Can they sustain this offensive look, though, is going to be my question going into the second half. And right now, with Mannheim Township struggling, almost stumbling over themselves defensively, I'd give them a good shot.
Yeah, right now they're struggling to get out, and when they do, it's a decent opportunity, but the composure, it seems, from Pencrest is more than enough, as another clear will be able to ring. At least partially true. Roball cutting it through off the side wall, and will be ricocheted across to the far side. Barter, no double tap for them, but they will be able to land quickly, and on another one to the ceiling. Jobby antivirus. Another tap through. It will land carefully down by Roball, but ultimately this ball is spending a lot of time in the corner, not much doing anything else. No, their team really getting benefited from this, but you'd have to think, after all this extended possession, there's going to be something at the tail end of it from the side of Mannheim Township. Is that it? No, they cannot get there in time. Barter beat out to it. It'll roll back out to mid for another clear.
I'm not sure I want to full-on geek out about that Maki, but the fact that the Mustang on the bottom side it kind of has this illuminated LED feel, and it's revolving around the logo. It's so cool. I almost wish the producers could just focus on that, but there's a game at hand and a goal to be scored that's not going to be converted. Detroit has all the time. That's going to be yet another one off the crossbar and out. Both teams leaving goals by the wayside and wishing they could have them back. Do they get one here? No. It's Angry with the save and the return to sender.
Oh, that's so brutal, especially because that first shot went off the post. Then Roball, actually right as they chipped it up for the air dribble, I think they realized it was wide open and realized their error, but not much you can do about that. Sometimes you just can't see the play develop in the exact moment. 42 seconds remaining. Punjabi antivirus trying to spur their team to go forward, get one more goal, but certainly they can't be too upset with sitting back on defense either. 30 seconds remaining, all that stands between them and their first series win as our tournament dark horse.
They have looked fairly good in that role so far. Granted, I mean, we're not exactly looking at a barn burner necessarily, Taco, but the defensive chess match between these two teams has been very impressive to behold. Now it's dangerous on the line. Can we get a goal? Not quite. Another mishandled situation. Distance of the pitch to go, and it is Mannheim Township looking for just one more touch. They will give up possession, and it's Pencrest, the 14th seed, gonna take a game here in game number 2, 1-0.
Again, just you said it's not a barn burner, but these are actually some of my favorite types of games because people think that action equals goals. I say action equals chances. Both teams getting around the goal, lots of key 50s to cut out plays just at the apex of the strike, and it makes for very dramatic Rocket League, and that's certainly what we're getting here. 5-3, close on shots, and of course close on goals as well. It's really just going to come down to execution, as all good skill-based esports will. It's just right now, Pencrest is the leading team, getting that victory to tie the series up, and we said game 3s are so pivotal. This one is just to see what team can even take the lead here, or are we just going to be trading back and forth all day?
Well, I know this much. We are going to get a trade back and forth as far as who is on the pitch, and it looks like $10 is back for Pencrest, and I don't know about this one, Taco. And I'm not saying this to put anybody down, but I'm of the jurisdiction, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. If you're coming off a win, I'm not sure you want to make the change there. So just a polite questioning And there is nobody home. Is this going to roll all the way in? It is. Barter, the benefactor. It's first goal for Mannheim Township.
It's not too often that a goal explosion spells out the exact thought that I had in that moment. Wow, where is his defense on that play? That ball just sitting in front, and the pretty ordinary clear down the field, just no one home. The key aspect of positioning is not only being at midfield or being far enough back, but not facing directly upfield so that a long ball forces you to turn all the way around, regain all of your speed. You got to keep moving. You got to be aware because any goal can happen at any time. Double tap rejected. Now on the counter, the redirect, there goes $10. There goes the ball into the Mannheim goal, and there's our equalizer.
I think you're underselling him a little bit, Taco. $10, more like 100, and that is a wonderful turn. Didn't even need the side boost because it was full 100 the entire way. They cut into the lead, they tie everything up, and now, who knows, we may get that barn. What?
Yeah, there's a lot of things to say about this goal, but I think for right now, we just need to soak this in and understand that sometimes things just happen. You know, there's not much we can do about it. Sometimes you get thrown a changeup and you just refuse to swing.
I'm going to have to contemplate that one for a little bit. I demand a vote recount on that one. Did that really go in? Barter's going to make quick work of taking us off that subject. We are deuces wild. 4 goals in under a minute.
Yeah, I mean, we were saying this is going to be back and forth, kind of like a pitcher's battle where it's just about the defense holding up. Now it's just about who's going to outscore the other team. As you said, we're already at 4 times the amount of goals that we've seen in game number 1 and game number 2, in the fact that it was really just a 1-goal affair. Now it's just a shooting gallery. So talked about the execution. I thought that was going to be on offense, but right now it's going to be from the defenses. Not all these goals have been super pretty. The kind of just rollers through the midfield. So something you want to be able to see, especially now that we're getting into, I would say, the meat of the series where the true momentum carriers are really going to start to emerge. Barter showing up big again on the back post, tucking that one home.
But the back line, the double commit here, I feel like $10 needs to follow that one up. It was given off and nobody was home. No one on the back post, nobody on the 4 post, nobody taking the initiative to make sure that that loose ball wasn't scored upon. And that's going to be a shame on you moment for Pencrest B. They lose another one. Roll ball. 6 goals in a minute and a half.
Yeah, and this is quite something, but also the pace of play has picked up. I like the trust there from Roball as you see Detroit generate an air dribble, but it's not necessarily to beat out the defenders on the goal line. It's just to be able to open it up into a possessed touch toward a teammate, and Roball reads that the whole way through. A cracking shot on target, too hot to handle for the goalkeepers, and kind of what happens when they're a bit too far back. If you don't have that staggered defense close enough, you're not able to shut things down in time. Detroit showing them that again. I think we've seen enough examples, but certainly they're not content with their amount of goals. 5 now on the board for them, and a 7-goal showing in the first 100 seconds.
Oh my gosh, look at that pass though. Somebody get Roball a hazmat cleansing unit at that point. Goes complete turtle, flicks up to get over the defender in order to keep that off the corner wall and towards the mid. That's clean.
Gross, clean, you know, all words that mean the opposite technically.
Exactly. It's a conundrum at this point how that one went through. I'm baffled, Taco. I'm not gonna lie. We see 2 games that are 1-0 chess matches in a row, and now we have not stopped seeing goals. Here comes Detroit. That is a tap and a trap off of the top bar and in.
Well, if you're looking for a way to get your hat trick, maybe just every goal being better than the last. And this is the beauty about a lot of air dribbles. People think of gluing it to your bumper, sticking it on the top end of your car as you just carry it past defenders. But as often, it is also just a time where you bait in the first touch and then get one more slight tap over the first defender. And then it's just gravy. Detroit didn't carry it home after that. And right now, this is, I think, really the play that Madam Township was probably expecting out of themselves much earlier on in this series, as they've truly woken up after a really dormant game 1 and game number 2. Everything's come alive, and half the game remaining. I can't say that's even out of the reach of Pencrest, but they have certainly been hemmed in their half.
Not the place that you want to be if you're Pencrest in position of challenge. Not even remotely something that we can document, because there haven't been too many major challenges, especially in the last 2 minutes. It's been all Mannheim Township all the time, and that is another goal for Robal.
Robal doing a good job, just like their compatriot on their team, just being able to take advantage of these shots. Detroit was the first one to get the Hattie, and now Robal is going to be joining them on that. And this is just full spread offense, but notice how they're coming in. It's just because Pencrest is trying to push up as much as possible. So therefore, there's a bit of an asterisk on this game. It might be a victory, but most of these goals I feel like are somewhat given away from the side of Pencrest, mainly just because you have to push the issue out inevitably, and when you do push everyone forward on attack, be a bit light on defense. Nevertheless, with 90 seconds remaining, I think being able to focus down on the comms and realize that they need to somewhat forget this game and get back to what was working in games 1 and 2 will be of the utmost importance.
I do like the look from $10. It's going to open up a hole for Pencrest to try to push forward into, not able to execute enough. But finally, they have a little mite of control. 75 seconds. Chance to really capture some solace here in the back end of this match. A 5-goal deficit, a very hard cookie to cut if you're hoping for the comeback in this game. But I'll be perfectly honest, 1 goal here could change the entire dichotomy of a potential game 4, especially with how hotly contested both of these teams have put forth into the opposing offensive zones. It really is anyone's game, because at a moment's notice, at the drop of a hat, either team seems like they can score.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing that I'm missing from Pencrest is not necessarily that they're incapable of scoring. They just really haven't had the opportunity. Going back to the old adage I had mentioned in the last series, the best defense is a good offense. And I think Mannheim Township is living and breathing by that right now. They're just constantly pushing the ball forward, getting a lot of return first, second, and third touches on their attacks. And therefore, when you're just sitting back on the goal line defending most of the game, it's hard to get forward and be able to even consolidate something into a shot. So with opportunities like this where they do have a fast break, I would like to see some more considerate touches on the ball, but unfortunately they're going to have to wait until next game to really enact that new game plan. This one is something I'm sure they would like to forget.
7-2 in the books, and yeah, they will be looking to wipe the memory after that one, clear the cash out. 6 shots for 2 goals, not too bad, but a majority of that, Taco, was in that first minute. An absolute slobber knocker between the two teams. I like to liken things to Rocky Balboa movies where nobody is blocking anything. It's just like, come here, Adrian, I want to punch on the chin. That's exactly what that looked like there early on. We do see $10 being donated for the Punjabi antivirus. Will that change their fortune again? I'm interested to see. I'm interested to see what version of Pencrest shows up here with the change. I have a theory. I'm not going to say it. But this may be interesting for science.
Yeah, it's always interesting to see when you have 6 players on the field and no RNG, and really just the individual contributions of every player is what actually ends up generating what you do see on the pitch. And so therefore, a change out of 1 player can be an incredibly vital substitution. And I loved how they looked, Pencrest, with Punjabi antivirus in the lineup. We'll have to see if that generally was what won them a bit more of their challenges, almost getting their name known in this game, number 4, with a read off the backboard, but gonna have to play defense instead. Robal can't get some demos, so let's take the scenic route home. And at least within the first minute, we're not seeing that avalanche of goals, so at least the defenses have mostly settled down.
It has, but Barter afforded some time in the midfield, quickly contested on by Punjabi antivirus, really allowing the slow play to make sure that the defense was back in time. So brilliant team communication and rotation for Pencrest. They are keeping that defensive mindedness that we saw in games 1 and 2, but at the same time, making sure they put themselves in brilliant, opportunistic positions going forward. Here comes Punjabi Antivirus. The push on. Gonna stay with this ball. Wins the 50-50 pure. It's dangerous in the box, but pushed immediately across by Robal. Well read.
Only gonna hold it up temporarily. Detroit will come on in and send one high, but Punjabi Antivirus, actually one aspect of their gameplay that I really do enjoy watching is how willing they are to keep the ball close on offensive counter plays. They don't just throw it forward. They're willing to take a slow air dribble. Even if it's not super clean, it's not given away, and it forces the side of Mannheim Township Blue to really think about what they're going to do. Kind of like right here, going for an air dribble, but instead opts for the backboard pass with Punjabi Antivirus in the thick of it again. Gets another clear. One more sitter in front of net. Can Detroit get a double? Too rich for them. It's going to go straight into the ceiling. They do have support, but they'll wait for a second. That one will go well wide of the goal. Carter has quite the angle to work with, and they still get it done. Hard angle or not, Barter puts their squad on the board.
And it's only a matter of time when you're able to keep this sort of offensive pressure before the defense finally cracks, no matter how talented they happen to be on the back end. It was a contested touch, and they were able to just eke out enough on the goal line. So now 1-goal lead. Do they continue to push their advantage, or maybe do we start to see that same mentality we saw in the first couple games? Slow things down, utilize your pressure from the score. I thought that was going to be in, but the muff touch in the box ends up leaving me wanting a little bit more.
Yeah, but I do like the ideas there generated by the side of Pencrest. They're doing a good job being able to advance forward and kind of wait for their opportunity to strike. The problem is they just don't have the power on a lot of these touches. Unlike this clear, that's going all the way down into the corner, off the sidewall, not past Detroit. Well read, and with boot to boost, they'll be able to follow through. Leaves it away for Barter, who only into the corner as well, but this feels very reminiscent of these early games, right back to that 1-0 scoreline as we enter the final 2 minutes.
Oh, goodness. And double mitt there, but they are able to get the ball out for now. A double tap by Punjabi would have been huge and tied the game up. Instead, they are once again just missing out on an opportunity. Slow play here. Up and over one. Not able to get by Barter, though. And it is yet again a chance by the wayside, but the pressure, it's been all Pencrest. It's just a matter of time. We've said it before. I'll say it again for us, because if you keep that sort of pressure on, it's a recipe for success.
Yeah, and as we're nearing the final seconds, this offense is really promising from the side of Mannheim Township, but they don't need any more goals. I don't expect them to really turtle up, but I wouldn't blame them if they didn't. It's coming down the field with force, and what a strike.
Oh my, give credit that this is not the best pass as far as like being readable. Like they could have interrupted on that, but the execution of the pass and the shot, so good. They tie the game up, 59 seconds to go, and now it is anybody's game. You can't play your advantage when you don't have one. And barter me this.
Indeed, I'm sure they'll have a counter offer for that one. They're not a huge fan of giving up that goal. And again, Punjabi in the lineup. I have to agree with you that I do like how this team is looking. It can't merely be a coincidence. I have to think that the play has picked up and they are in the lineup. Maybe they're just bringing a different mentality, a different vibe within the comms, whatever it is. It's definitely brought them within striking distance more than a couple times. And Angry is really picking up on that momentum. That's an interesting touch. That's a wide open shot. Nexus not even anticipating that. I barely anticipated that. That could have been a shot that's going to go by the wayside. Final 10 seconds. Looking for overtime. Maybe not. Double tap from Barter. It's a high lob. Nexus with a long clear out into mid. Double tap to boot. And that will certainly be spelling the end to this game. But actually, Detroit wants to be a hero. Carries it one more time, and just adding a little bit of flair for the dramatic before we inevitably go into OT.
And they almost took that ball to space with them. Sadly, will not be able to carry the day. And we do go to overtime. Game number 4. one team is going to gain a lot of momentum out of this one. Pincrest are hoping it is them, but they have this ball stalled in their defensive corner. This could be floated dangerously, but good defense off of the crossbar from Punjabi. Antivirus is not enough when the rest of your team goes with you. Oh, no.
Yeah, that's rough. They were not anticipating this pass is going to be as dangerous as it was. It also didn't help that Angry actually needed boost as well. They left to all leave the middle at the exact same time. So that pass, as innocuous as it may have seemed, is exactly what the doctor ordered. And it's going to get put home yet again by Barter. That is going to be one more victory being notched by Mannheim Township Blue. And more importantly, it is going to put them that much closer to the semifinals. They can sniff it, Kendo. They're one game away.
I mean, it's a generously amazing aroma, if you know what I'm saying, my friend. Pungent, yes, I like the word selection there. Pungent, not to be a pun. Never mind. Okay, I have derailed this train completely. That being said, our puns looking a little bit like the defense there from Pencrest at the end. It wasn't a bad defensive touch, Taco. But the fact that all three players ended up leaving the confines of the mid there and left a wide open net was their undoing. And now Barter in the first 11 seconds is going to put Mannheim Township ahead.
That's why you stay with the ball, just generating a 50, or at least the threat of one right there. That ball coming across. Angry thought that they had to get in the way. They pre-jumped it. Barter jumped as well to make it look like they had contact, but instead they just waited things out. And that's what I like to call the tactical whiff, where you're going for a touch and you don't necessarily get it, but the defender bites so hard into it, assuming the touch, that it goes through. We'll also be open to the possibility that that was indeed a possible fake, but either way, it works the same, and the end result is indeed the same. We have a 1-goal lead, and right now, Mannheim Township in position, and as he said, mentioned earlier, the death timer makes a return.
Well, Angry does make the defense, but the double commits, now a triple commit, starting to worry me, Taco, because you're seeing these progressions. They're moving forward as a unit, as they should, but when all three members are right there in the same sectional of the field, who are you going to pass to? Who is going to be there if the 50-50 is lost in a terrible fashion? That is a question I pose, and hopefully they can make an adjustment upon that. Make sure that they space themselves out. Yes, it's exciting times, but at the same time, oh my, you don't want to put yourself completely out of it.
Not at all. Detroit trying to put this game out of reach, and they will, at least a bit more. That is going to be a brilliant foul. I like the way they stick with it. They understand their job isn't done, so they're going to escort it all the way through. Get a flip reset, actually, at the end. Didn't notice that last touch, so a bit of style points. I'll give them that at the tail end.
Brilliant stuff from Detroit. And now, 3 minutes, 30 seconds left on the clock. We do get a triple commit out of Pencrest, and Roball will look to take advantage, getting this into the offensive zone for Detroit. Taking the time, gets an additional flick off the sidewall. Shot scores for Roball. Well controlled to get that centered.
Not necessarily something you'll see in Sun Tzu's Art of War, but they are certainly sending a lot of players triple committing into it. And sometimes, sure, the unexpected maybe can throw a team off, but it just seems like it's more just discombobulating themselves. Not really sure where the Pencrest communication is going on some of these plays, because I wouldn't necessarily say this is a collapse, but it's just a very unfortunate showing from them after coming so close in so many of these games. And now it is just non-stop pressure and non-stop stats being added to the side of Mannheim Township. Detroit popping up with another goal.
And I believe that's in the lost chapters of the Art of War. See the enemy, be the enemy. And in this case, Pencrest, they are their own enemy when they commit all three into the corner like that. And once again, nobody pressuring the play on. Barter's going to have free real estate yet again in the midfield. We do see Angry carrying this through. The contest there by Roball, albeit equating into an own goal. That's what I want to see a little bit more of out of Pencrest.
Good job by Angry staying with this ball. And granted, I didn't expect the way that this would get finished, but they all count the same. And certainly, if one team is able to score in the first 2 minutes, then certainly you're within your limits to score within the next 3. And kickoffs like that will not be helping the cause. It thankfully will be going wide. Good job of Antivirus doing their patented slow buildup out of the play to keep that possession. And now we'll have to see if the remaining half of this game, potentially the final game here for Pencrest, will be able to be turned around in time.
We do have 1 half left on the clock here in game number 5, and things becoming more and more desperate for Pencrest. The Barter able to levy that ball above 2 defenders, not really going very far. But at this point, you're perfectly fine when you are eliminating time from the equation, especially with that 3-goal lead. They will float this ball towards the midfield, giving up possession to Angry, and immediately the pressure comes in and through. Good stuff from Mannheim Township, but clear, not really equal to the task. And now Barter has Detroit coming in, decides to slow play it instead. And I think we're starting to see a theme here. It's not necessarily about the offense on the net, although Barter looks to be taking one on, and they're just willing to stall this ball out in the corner.
Yeah, and all these long players are not necessarily going to be aiding the defense for Mannheim Township, but it will certainly be taking off all the seconds. Giveaways like that will not be doing the same task, though the defense will hold strong. Now Detroit's turn to chase this one down. We'll be able to roll out to Roball, and they've put this one beyond any doubt, busting out a breezy flick in the midfield. I guess I can't say that they lack for confidence.
No, not at all, and it was almost cleanly executed, but the challenge did come on, and that's what I want to see. Out of Pencrest, and we get a goal out of Detroit. Sadly, the challenges are short-lived. We see one, we do not see another, and Detroit is afforded all the time in the world to put that towards the net, albeit a close one. That's a bar down and in. You don't get that gentle a caress off the top bar often.
What I'm seeing from Pencrest on these kickoffs is that they want to not take them and then let the ball come at them. It's like they're trying to they're giving away free opportunities. Barter going to be kind of gifted this one for number 6.
I think we have a little bit of a tomfoolery going on in the defensive net there. But it is what it is at this point. 53 seconds, tournament lives on the line. The double fake. Okay, this will be played on here. Is that we saw the double fake off the kickoff. We will see Pujabi Antivirus converting another goal, but it may be too little too late.
Well, it's tomfoolery. I mean, we say it's too little too late, but 44 seconds, maybe they're just playing 4D chess. It's a stratagem that neither you nor I can truly comprehend. I would at least hope that is the case within the final 44 seconds, as actually no one goes to this one. Pujabi Antivirus is going to be set up with a free air dribble. It will take to the skies, but not be able to do much more than that. Or so I thought it's just going to go straight through. Kendo, I don't even know what I'm looking at anymore.
You know what? This looks like my old Flat Ones games where all the GCs would show up and start doing their freestyling. So I personally like it. Now Detroit looks like they're gonna get their shot at the freestyle as it gets under this well, has the reset, but not enough on it. You know what? I'm gonna chalk this up to a little bit of sportsmanship. I think Pencrest knows that they are defeated. They're able to take this game as what it is, exactly, a game. Enjoy themselves. Enjoy the fact that they got themselves to this quarterfinal, and they are going to have a little bit of fun with it, a little bit of freestyling at the end. They will fall, but not before Angry gets one more goal. It's out of the realm of possibility. 2 goals in 1 second. Break the game if you can, but it's not going to happen. But Pencrest, it's amazing to see them having fun in this position.
Yeah, some people could say that this is just them showing sportsmanship, but I was going to say that this was just a slight miscalculation. I think they baited in free goals to lower the inhibitions of the side of Mannheim Township, thinking, oh, this is a false sense of security. And then as soon as they let their guard down, that's when you strike with quick goals and bring it back. They just fell short by 2 goals. I'm sure that was the ultimate strategy. Regardless of what it was, admirable effort, going really deep into the playbook for that one, but they will fall. Ultimately, Pencrest, we did say this is a Cinderella story, and sometimes Cinderella stories do not end with a big, clean, happy, neat ending with them getting all the way to the championship. But that was a good effort. A lot of games that were fairly close down the stretch, it got away from them, but this is a very respectable showing from them.
Well, my friend, the possum tactic doesn't always work. It did not in this case, but we are going to see 2 different variety teams going up against each other. Our last match of the night, it will be coming up right after the break. North Catholic and Chambersburg Blue, the battle of the Trojans in the PIEA quarterfinals. You don't want to miss it. And welcome back. We have one last matchup for you tonight in the PIEA quarterfinals, and that is going to be a battle of the Trojans. Kendo Slice alongside the Danger Taco. In Taco, we have the returning champions, one of the only teams that is still making these playoff runs from a season ago. So, North Catholic, they are the number 2 seed, but in my heart, we're talking about a favorite here. They want to defend their pride against a fellow imposter Trojan, if you understand what I'm saying.
Oh, absolutely. And when you come in with already that pedigree of having won a championship before and having that long kind of storied program, you want to be able to defend it. But eventually, all reigns have to come to an end. You have to inevitably meet your maker. And maybe that is exactly what we're going to be seeing out of Chambersburg coming in on this final best of 7 on the night. We've had a lot of ups and downs, and I wouldn't necessarily say we've seen any shocks as of yet. So what better time than this final match of the stream here to round out our quarterfinals?
Yeah, it's going to be starring a couple of players from the Chambersburg side. This is a 6-1 team, 12-4 on their regular season in a nasty pin division. They were the number 3 seed from that. So number 3 with a 6-1 record. You know how impressive that division was. Of course, Garnet Valley, the first in that division. And this team ended up being on the wrong end of that stick, as you can probably guess. Kobe and Kunai, two to very much look out for, especially in the midfield. And Mark Tumesi on the side of North Catholic, the only returning member from that championship team, has a lot of control. Will be battling against Kunai and Kobe in the midfield for said control. Oh, wait a minute, and that's going to be a miss. Aurelian, the one we didn't even talk about, is going to score from long distance.
Always good to notice when the defender's creeping up a bit too far, and Aurelian will be able to see Grub from all the way downtown, recognize that they're not necessarily in the greatest position, and send one deep. And as much as we talk about strategy and keeping the ball close, keeping possession, a well-timed long shot, just a clear blasted on target from deep, can be just the thing to really unsteady a defense and catch them napping. How about that shot through the smoke, almost peeking through for Chambersburg, but they're going to have to wait for their next offensive iteration.
I'm excited about this matchup, though, Taco, because these are two teams that were absolutely making highlights as I was doing the highlight reels throughout the regular season. So I throw in the fact that North Catholic are looking to defend that championship. It's exciting to see. And here comes Mark Tumesi. Patented control out through the midfield. Has the extra touch. It's centered. The Flame Fox. Oh, the delayed touch is going to score, and the Scarlet are on top.
MK to Messi. Great tap, and you gotta feel for Grub. They understand no one's immediately there, but then they make the fatal mistake that, so many players make. They have a 50, and then they diagonal flip it, channels the ball into the midfield off of that firm 50 through from Flame Fox, and that's going to result in a second goal here. North Catholic Scarlet on fire, and no signs of slowing down. Shots continue to come through, and even on the deflections back, it acts as a back pass. Great way to keep possession, try to keep this offensive machine going, but inevitably that possession will end, and maybe so too will their offensive domination. Grub just over the bar, they can't get it to go.
That's going to be one that you definitely want back if you're Jamesburg. That could have gone a long way in changing momentum. Kobe will manage here after a weak touch into the midfield. A good control here by Kunai. A little unconventional, but you get it to your teammate who's able to take advantage of a team that's still struggling to recover all of its boost after a clear. I like it.
Yeah, and it's a great way to be able to play through and not give up on the attack. Sometimes you have a well-laid plan and then it goes to waste, and you gotta grumble about it, and then you get back into your half. But another thing you can do is just kind of fold your arms and wait for the next available opportunity, kind of like Aurelian just did. Didn't anticipate the defensive player to recover, but they can't do it again. Flame Fox lurking in the box yet again, puts away home number 3.
My goodness, and yeah, that is yet another touch in the box, lofted high up, and I'm of the conviction the longer you can keep that ball there, whether it be misdirection, whether it be extra touches, whether it be just straight up missing your shot, the better chance you have of eventually converting, especially with a high-powered offense the way that North Catholic Scarlet have shown themselves to be. They're rotating well. They are making sure that they take advantage of the opportunities presented to them. And we do have Kunai and Grub committing together, working this ball up together, and now they're going to be on the retreat together as this ball clears the mid.
MK2 Messi will try to extend things out, but a really good cutout by Kobe will be able to curtail that, and that's really what offensive rotation is all about, being able to put pressure on and then retreat just out to midfield. But that is not what offensive pressure is all about. That's a double commit. All three players are up for the Scarlet side, but no one will be able to actually convert it past the firm defensive standing of Who's Kanai. And that'll be another clear out as everyone retreats back to their half, gathers up their boost, and readies for the next assault on their nets.
Haven't seen much of the midfield presence from Kobe so far that it became very evident throughout the regular season, but I feel like that is because you have the likes of Messi making sure that no one is home. Aurelian almost own-goaling that. Firefox not able to truly work this one out. Messi with the clear. Doesn't see it by Kobe. A long-distance shot, going to be dangerous, but what a recovery by Messi. Not only finds themselves on the backboard, but gets the additional touch out to midfield. Well, really? What?
Something about these long balls is just not something that can be dealt with by Chambersburg. MK2, notice they touched that with the corner of the octane, so maybe they didn't anticipate that clear being as far down as possible, but hitting it with the right contact, full speed ahead while barreling through the challenge, that's going to absolutely schlock that ball as far as possible. And long ball, unfortunately, is somewhat their undoing here. They've only been able to score one goal here, but at least half the goals scored on them have been off fairly preventable scores, I would say. Not an ideal way for Game 1 to unravel, but certainly North Catholic Scarlet making themselves known yet again.
Here is Messi, and this is what we mean by the amount of control Messi possesses. Messi living up to the namesake will get through the midfield, and that is a wide open net.
As I said, with a name like that, you can't be a player that does not have fantastic control. And with that pink tag, that means they've entered 3 different Supersonic Legends, highest rank in the game, tournaments, and won at least 3 of them. So clearly this is a player with a lot of tournament experience. They're not going to be shaken by a quarterfinal game where they just got to get a simple air carry. They are doing more than enough to be able to put these goals home and leading their team to quite the showing in game number 1. They're always looking for more. That dish across is going to get rejected, so this time it'll go the far side. Grub infield pass, and I like that look, but not going to be enough. At one point this game was even, but down the stretch, just too much on display from the North Catholic side.
My goodness, the Trojans will take down the Trojans in game number 1. It was a very dynamic statement. 5-1. Quite impressive. And it wasn't for lack of trying. 10 shots for Chambersburg. They were in the offensive zone early and often, only one less than what North Catholic put forward, but I think it was a disparity of quality. You didn't have the same chutzpah behind it that Mark II Messi seemed to carry with them the entire way through the midfield.
And as well as just preventing themselves from getting scored on the simple plays, the long clears, but also, of course, being wary that they need to stagger that defense. If you have a player capable of taking a player on one-on-one like MK2 Messi, that's the advantage of threes. You can throw a body into a challenge and then rely on someone behind you. But if you're also spread out that one player gets beat and then the follow-up is not immediately there, you're going to have a rough time, especially with a team that likes to control it as much as this North Catholic Scarlet side has been doing.
We are seeing the progression here early as North Catholic again in the offensive zone, getting a little physical play in as well. Flame Fox able to cover the missing link there on the back line, but no one there to cover what probably should have been a ball in from Kobe. It's off the top bar and out. Again, the fickle partner that is the crossbar, this time doing work for North Catholic.
Yeah, but they're still keeping a lot of attacks in. Kobe yet again trying to get some contact on the recursion. rotation, but no such luck will be found. And after the first minute to come and gone, I think I've been seeing, I would say, an improvement overall from the side of Chambersburg, but I really would love to see them really put one home with conviction, not even just for a goal, just something to show that these shots can be generated into dangerous positions. They're getting close misses, but that can be so tilting, even if you're not going down in the game, to come so close so often and just not be able to nail that final piece of the puzzle.
Oh, here comes the final piece right now. Double tap potential, not going to be able to convert. The secondary touch, it's off the crossbar and hard to the side. My goodness, you'll love to see that carry, and you may get another one. Instead, it's just chucked out. Grub, potential counter control, misses out. You cannot give Messi the ball on the sidewall. That being said, you also cannot give possession right over. Turnovers will lead to more opportunities. Aurelian not able to get there in time. It was very close. Messi with the vision to find that pass.
And Messi will be the one that will eventually capitulate possession. They'll get it back on a nice challenge, which will be able to find Aurelian upfield. So their touch will not be able to follow the same quality. Double commit midfield, but will result into open space for Grub to chase into. Left for Kobe. A lot of deflection, and we're seeing some midfield roundabout play. What a redirect by MK2 out of nowhere. They make magic.
My goodness, this is dirty, and it technically was off his own touch. That is mind-boggling that they're not only able to get the initiation in, but read that ball in. The classic doink with a little bit of a sidewall flare. Now it is North Catholic once again. They take priority in a much hotter contested game number 2 than we saw in the first. Can that 1-goal lead stand the test of time? Pretty close to not.
And get to Messi again, just being such a handful, dishing it off to Aurelian, picking apart the defense. Goal number 2 in quick succession.
That is brilliant. You see the carry from one side of the pitch to the other. They're moving up together in transition, making sure that they are able to utilize sidewall and each other to the fullest extent. It's what you love to see in a team. In North Catholic, despite the fact that one of the stars of PIEA has gone off to college from the last season, they are still a great team that finds each other on all ends of the pitch.
Yeah, we had talked several times when we talk about collegiate teams, some of the best teams out there are not necessarily just individual players that got assembled on the same roster, happen to go to the school in the same area. It's teams that have good systems, coaching, and being able to be part of just an institution almost of esports at that school, which really just puts a lot of pressure on the teams, but ultimately it means that they play well together, they know how to win, they're used to the spotlight, and very often when they need to step up, they do. North Catholic Scarlet really showing that even though the roster changes, the results are staying the same. Flame Fox putting fuel on the fire, and there's 3-0.
That is beautiful, and it's off of a mistouch. Grub, the mishandle will not be able to stay behind that. It sets up perfectly. You have to make sure you control out, and at this point, the pressure very obviously getting to the Chambersburg defense. I don't think they've been challenged this way so far on the season, in that everywhere they try to take the ball, not only is it being immediately contested, it's being sustained usually into the offensive zone.
We'll be seeing a bit of back and forth, and I think the thing that I'm looking to see out of the 45 seconds is just a to-go goal. I don't think a comeback is going to be super feasible unless it starts right now, and I speak it into existence. What's the opposite of a caster curse, Kendo? As we see one more goal be at the center of it, just lurking upfield, somewhat of an alley-oop here. And I have to say, like, I want one goal out of them because I know that they've come so close. So maybe that is the galvanizing aspect that they were looking for.
I'm not sure I want to give the caster's tongue too much credit on that one. Yes, the caster's curse is a very real thing, but right now, These guys are finding ways to make sure that they put themselves in very good position. Kobe is gonna score. Kunai the initiation in. It's only a 1-goal game with 33 to go.
You're North Catholic Scarlet. This is always one of the weird positions where you're so confident about 10 seconds ago, and now suddenly everything you know is up in the air. It's back to a 1-goal game, and at any point, Kobe could strike, but long clears rolling down the field are not going to help. Sidewall Grub is going to be only able to find Aurelian. It's going to be a light bounce, but they'll be able to follow it just enough. One more hit downfield, but another clear right on back. That's 2 players up and almost a miss. Carry from the corner, Kobe cut out. It's going to need a full court carry to complete this comeback. I don't think they have it in them, but they have at least one more chance at it. The deflection, sidewall up, MK2 Messi, can they put the dagger on this one? Flip reset not in, but they don't need it. They have enough goals to be able to outlast the onslaught. North Catholic Scarlet taking the game.
You know what? It takes a lot of composure. You're down 3-0 with under a minute to go, and then to come back the way that Chambersburg did. I'm not the type to give participation trophies or, call a moral victory. That was a moral victory for Chambersburg Blue. They will go away feeling a whole lot better going into game number 3 because not only did they compete, they competed well.
Yeah, and the thing I like to see about this side of Chambersburg is that they're not giving up on the attack, and also that's the way you have to think about the general goal setting within a game. Is when you're trying to mount the comeback, you just focus on the first goal. Once you get that, then you can try to focus on the other thing. I think the debilitating, the demotivational aspect of when you're in those situations is when you do have teams that are in a hole and they're like, oh, God, we have to do so much. No. Just focus one at a time. That's exactly what they did. So though they weren't able to clean things up, if they can bring that same amount of ferocity that they brought in that final minute within this next game, I'm liking their chances.
It's ferocity. I like that word to describe it, and that is exactly what you have to do. You feel very confident if you're North Catholic, but things always change, in the words of ye old Mike Tyson, when somebody gets up in your face and punches you in the mouth. So now we have a fresh clock. It is game number 3 getting underway. Here we go. North Catholic as well as Chambersburg. It almost feels like a whole new series.
It really does. We've definitely hit the refresh button on this series, which is always a nice thing to see, especially since North Catholic is now 2-0 up in the series. So Chambersburg is going to want that little bit of a reset, as they're definitely getting more theatrical with their touches. That was a redirect that they attempted. Now MK2 Messi trying their own, but only will find the backboard. Another cut in, but Grub will be able to intercede. Another challenge across, and that's a nice possession touch from Grub, trying to set up a defender, or rather their opponent, but unfortunately only set up of a defender. So very tumultuous opening minute, but still liking the speed being brought out from both sides.
That's a loose touch, though. Messi hasn't shown up for it. It'll allow Aurelian to take this into the corner, but those are the touches you need to quell and not allow the opportunity for North Catholic. That being said, possession afforded here to Kobe. Gonna carry this all the way through and does get a shot towards the net, not necessarily on it. We're seeing so much extra room, free real estate being given to Chambersburg, and they're doing quite a bit with it, but this is a mistouch. This might go in, and it's Flame Fox there for the cleanup.
This is why those long clears can be such an asset for an offense, because even though they're not necessarily individually difficult to deal with from a defender, it causes chaos. You see Grub coming up for a double commit along with their teammate, and that opens the door for the goal. MK2 Messi always seems to know the perfect time to be able to levy a long hit downfield or to strike one in. Aurelian this time taking the reins on this offense. 2-0 within the first 90 seconds.
My goodness, and that is yet another, not necessarily bad clear, but it was not an advisable clear. You need to make sure that your teammate's on the same page and able to follow that one up, because if it's uncontested straight to your opponent in the box, you're essentially giving them a high percentage shot. Not what you want to do. we flipped the script on the flip script, and now everything just seems to be turning up North Catholic here through the first 2 minutes of game number 3. That being said, I'm not going to count Chambersburg out by any stretch of the imagination. They've already shown once they have the tenacity, they have the guts, they want to make sure that they contest this well, but a miss on the long ball. Messi's going to get a freebie here.
You say freebie, but it's so hard to predict this if you're Grub. You're starting to come up field, you're thinking, oh, that's just going to be an innocent 50. Nope, it's just a laser beam right over top of your head, and you have no idea it's about to happen. So I can't really blame them for not reacting in time. So tough to predict that in the moment, but fortunately it all comes from just an inopportune challenge, and Flame Fox, that was opportune for themselves, but fortunate at least from the side of Chambersburg that does not go in. A 2-goal lead is at least manageable, or a 3-goal lead is at least manageable at this point, but certainly they do not want the floodgates to open even further.
I believe the age-old adage is fortune favors the bold, and right now, Kobe showing a little boldness on the goal line. Did they save that themselves with the help of Flame Fox? That would be tragic. Who cares? It's who's Kunai to put it away and start the comeback.
Almost a huge tilter right there, but credit to Grub making up for their miss earlier, whether or not it was preventable or not. Get in the way, 50 in the ball through 2 defenders, and Kanai with the presence of mind to stay home on that back post. Tap it home. There is the light. Now they just got to run more into it. Demo on the kickoff might have actually saved a goal. Could have been a nice hook shot, but we will never know.
Well, there is 2 minutes left on the clock, and this is a critical Game 3, I think, for Chambersburg. You do not want to go down, especially given how well North Catholic has been able to control not only the ball possession, but the pace of play in general. They're not affording you as many opportunities. And with the lead, they seem dominant. This is a goal in the making. They need to score it. It's still there, presenting itself on the goal line. And instead, it falls by the wayside. You cannot, when you're 2 goals down, have that ball dangling by a thread in front of the net and not convert.
A couple times now I'm starting to see Chambersburg go right for the dagger play every single time, even though they don't necessarily have the cleanest contact on it. Can't say the same about Messi, robbed by pixels off of getting that double tap in, but at least for Chambersburg, just to continue my last point, I'll try to make it quickly because that's what they're trying to do with this offense. If you could just keep the ball in a dangerous position, you can set yourselves up for an opportunity. Right there was a good one, but everyone was too splayed out. No one could get the clean contact, and right now, sustained offense might be the key for them to get back in this game. They need that miraculous comeback yet again.
Oh no, loose ball. Messi has control through the midfield, is going to at the very least force Chambersburg to go the distance to bring this one back yet again. Flame Fox breaks through the defense, and now it's a 3-goal lead.
That's a nice challenge here because Kanai, I think they were trying to bait out that slower play. They didn't have a lot of boost. They didn't want to immediately give it away, and I give them credit for that. Problem is you can only bait that fake challenge in thinking, oh, I know I have more boost for only so long. Good job on the side of North Catholic for recognizing that they were bluffing, challenging it quickly, and getting a goal. And it's just tiny moments like that, I think, that have slowly spelled the demise for Chambersburg. I think at times they look very confident, and other times they just cannot handle what North Catholic is throwing at them.
Oh, and that one's going to be dangerous to cross the box. But at this point, with only 9 seconds to go, it essentially is over. The 3-goal disparity too far to overcome North Catholic. This has been extremely well contested, but they have just shown how dominant they can be.
Oh, yeah, and when you look at the shots, that's the difference in a lot of different teams, is that if you just took a screenshot and muted out the score and wondered, hey, based on shots and saves, who do you think is coming out on top here? I don't know if you necessarily choose North Catholic. The difference is that when they get a shot, it is with a lot of pace on target, forcing an awkward save. Whereas it felt like a lot of the goals, or at least the chances from Chambersburg, were just off deflections, or they're trying to crash the goal. And it's a desperation fling at the ball rather than something more well orchestrated. I don't think they need every shot to go on target. I would like for them to be able to understand that not every shot needs to be the final piece of the puzzle, and just be able to keep possession, maybe steal corner boost, maybe get some demos. Either way, you got to switch something up, because the last 3 games, whatever they've been trying, Chambersburg cannot break through.
We are seeing a substitution being put in. 420 Exciter is going to be in by the look of it for Aurelian. And North Catholic, not sure if it's a comfort pick. You want to get some of your players an opportunity within the confines of the playoffs, but right now it's Kobe taking full advantage of a little bit of mispositioning. Oh, what a pitch!
I was about to say, I was thinking to myself, how did Kobe get that much power? I didn't even see the pinch on the first play, and of course that's going to come through in a nice way. Teamwork makes the dream work, Kendo. That's what I've always been told and was told growing up, so clearly that holds true even in esports.
Well, it is first blood, something that Chambersburg have not had the luxury of, and they are going to give it up. Who else but Messi to take care of what was a little bit of a weak touch? It completely flips everything on its head immediately. Literally a 2-3 second transition.
Yeah, and that's one thing that I think really stands out about MK2 Messi is that every touch they have, they immediately know what's coming next. They don't hesitate, they don't pause, they immediately rotate into steal the boost, get a bump, go for an air dribble. They know what the pass that comes next, and that does come with that greater experience. Of course, that tag showing that they're capable of playing at that highest rank in the game, and it's certainly showing a kind of veteran experience from them being able to really impose their will on a couple of different plays. And I think North Catholic is stronger for that impact, but their job is not done yet. Neither too is this series. We still have potentially plenty of games to play, but it's going to have to come on the end of Chambersburg getting back in things and styling up and Kobe try to trick dribble in the midfield.
I appreciate it. They aren't going to score off of it. And in fact, it's going to be polar opposite. They end up seeing this ball at 420 Exciter able to put it away. I do appreciate the try, though. I am all for avant-garde 50-50s, because sometimes, especially on the side ball, you can create something very, very telling if you are able to convert on one of those. So I appreciate the attempt. It did not pay off. In fact, worked very much against them in that instance.
It could get worse before it even gets better. Flamefox had a whiff, but the tactical whiffs as that one nearly dropped into the worst position possible for the defense. Kanai rejected. Kobe, decent 50, but nothing doing outside of just another ball through the corner. Making laps around and around, waiting for their opportunity is Chambersburg, and that dive by Kunai right there at the end of that attack. Really, I would say the microcosm of a lot of issues. They're just too late on most of these challenges. They need to be more proactive with the build-up. They need to make sure they have possession first and then really choose their spot, because right now it seems like they're playing from behind.
I mean, they literally are playing from behind, Taco, but I
play like you're behind, but make sure you're not like chasing. I was saying playing like behind the pace of play. You know what, Ken? Yes. I'm done. I'm leaving. I'm here.
As I have made my co-caster completely and utterly leave the entirety of the call. Oh well, I've ruined everything yet again here. That being said, yes, I agree with you, Taco. They are putting themselves on the back foot, and that is not where you want to be. You want to be on the precipice of the action. You want to be making the pace, and that is what they do here in the last 15 seconds. Kobe gonna come in clutch.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate from Flamefox. They tried everything possible to not put that in a dangerous position, and they did well. They put it to the corner, but Kobe, taking a really wide rotation, understands that they need to be on the outside to score that, and score it they do. Signs of life yet, 2 minutes to go, and we're all tied up.
Oh no, they are gonna leave. No!
I don't know if that's in, if that is touched by a defender. That is in very unfortunate. I think Grub didn't want to take any chances, and 15 it unfortunately in. Oh, that's so unfortunate. You can't help but understand their mindset. MK2 Messi has been automatic on offense all day long, so to assume that that was just naturally going on target based on the fact that they were the last to touch it, I can't really blame them.
Yeah, I can't either. It's just an absolute pain moment because that may be all she wrote. If that ends up being the game winner, you look back on that and there's no way to find solace in that moment if you are Grub, other than the fact that, hey, you know what? We kept up with one of the most dominant teams within PIEA, and they're going to be looking to do just that here. Messi gets by 2, looking to get around the 3rd. That's an open net afforded. What control, what grace. North Catholic on top.
And right now, there's sometimes you call it respect that you give to players like Messi, where you know what they're capable of, so you back off a bit. You make sure you have a little bit of space because you don't want to get embarrassed. This time, they're playing with no respect. I think that maybe they should give the man their due appreciation, mainly just because Messi was immediately challenged a couple times, danced past everyone, and is able to carve out a goal for their team. They've certainly been very impressive leading the way, but it is a team game. All of North Catholic really shining, but of course, Messi not making sure we don't give them the due props. Yet another goal will be clattered in and might be putting this one out of reach.
Yeah, Messi has definitely shown off their luster here in the latter portion of this match. And very impressive what we have seen from North Catholic. Work cut out for Chambersburg Blues. Still possible. 3 goals, 45 seconds, not unheard of. But you need possession of the ball if you want to have a chance. And right now it is all Messi all the time. Looking for a scoring trophy.
Yeah, and excited. We haven't really seen them. They're the sub that came in game number 4, but doing a good job of feeding the hungry player. If you have a teammate that cannot miss, I don't care if I want goals. I want to give it to the person who is going to be putting it home. So a nice little beat out of 2 defenders, dapping it up for their teammate. And now it's really just the Red Sea out there. The defense is parting. Everyone is getting in on the goals. And Messi, I don't know if we're keeping these stats, but certainly they're looking to pad.
Yes, very much so. And that is not a goal gone by the wayside. That is a goal capitalized upon. 5-goal difference here in what was an extremely close game through the first 4 minutes has completely broken open. All but inevitability that North Catholic are going to work and move on to the semifinals to try to defend their championship. They just need to eliminate the clock. That is their only adversary. 10 to go. Shot on. More quality defense. 420 Exciter able to keep that one out towards the tail end. It is the Trojans beating the E-Trojans. Your final 4 has been set.
Great showing from them, 4-0. And when you are one of the tournament favorites, that's the result you're looking for. You don't want any missteps. You don't want any clunky games. You just want brutal efficiency. And I think that's what we saw all throughout the series, if not for really the piece de la resistance from Messi at the end. 5 goals off of 7 shots. I mean, there's being efficient and then there's just being gratuitous.
Yes, indeed, my friend. And we've seen statement wins. We've seen very close contests in all of this. And then we've seen just instances where people have clipped on others. So I think one thing we can say without a shadow of a doubt is there is lots more PIEA Rocket League action on the docket for us. But sadly, that is not something that is the case for tonight. This was our quarterfinals. That was our last one, the nightcap for you. And we're going to end up going to a different day, a live day this coming Sunday. And I hope you all are getting ready for it. Let's talk about the Final Four just for a second. Garnet Valley, the Jaguars will be going up against the Avonworth Antelopes. And then you have Mannheim Township, the Blue Streaks, will be going up against defending champion North Catholic Trojans. Folks, you do not want to miss it this weekend. We're going to have all sorts of festivities, and these themes that look so dominant, they are going to clash. They're going to collide. It's going to be colossal this weekend. Sunday. Taco and I will be back. You'll get to see our lovely faces. We look forward to seeing you there. I hope you have a wonderful night. And thank you for watching Pennsylvania Interscholastic Esports Association. It's the Pennsylvania State Championship.